Happy morning to all of you. Welcome to today's workshop on case studies under GST Series 1. The agenda for today, in the morning session, we have case studies on adjudication of notices under Section 73, 74 and e-label. Post-lunch, we have case studies on reverse charge mechanism, place of supply and valuation. We have with us right now CA Shankara Narayanan sir. May now request SARC Secretary Ayampalayam Immigration Arun to escort the speaker to the dais, please. We will start today's proceedings with the invocation of ICA Motor song. Let us all raise for ICA Motor as a mark of respect to our mother institute.
Yaeshasupeshu jagrati Yaeshasupeshu jagrati Pursho nirvimanaha Tadeva shukram Brahma Tadeva mridakuchade Tasmin lokaha Sarve taduna kyari kashchana Etadvaita
Thank you. Please be seated. May now request the CA A.V. Arun sir to deliver his welcome address.
Hello, Rukumaraka. Today's speaker Shankara Narayanan sir, senior members, warm good morning to one and all present here. So this is fourth or fifth series of case studies of from SARC. So as we all know that we all have some domain knowledge, but we need some kind of fine tuning in the act and rules and regulation, whatever it may be in the case. That is why we organize almost this is the second in the GST based on the case studies. So I think next 2 days it is entirely the case studies, practical issues we faced. We structured in such a way that 2 hours for case studies and 1 hour for the question and answer session. So kindly I request of each one of you to utilize this opportunity, get clarified your doubts, whatever you have. So we have 4 experts in the panel, so kindly make use of it. And I welcome you all for this one-day seminar on behalf of SARC. Thank you all.
Thank you, Arun sir. Our first session speaker, CA Shankara Narayanan, is a fellow chartered accountant and cost and management accountant with more than 1.5 decades of experience in financial and taxation compliance, spanning across diverse sectors including banks, service sector and manufacturing sector with a specialization in GST, customs, foreign trade policy. He is a member of GST study group of ICI, master trainer of GST affiliated by ICI, contributor as part of the ICI team in charge of preparing and updating background material on GST. He has trained more than 6,500 chartered accountant plus 12,500 plus finance and account professionals across India on GST law and practice and indirect taxes. Director in Governing Council of International Chamber of GST Professionals, Co-Chairman of Indirect Taxes Committee of Hindustan Chamber of Commerce, Member of Indirect Taxes Committee of Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industries, authored and reviewed publications on SENVAT and GST under the auspices of ICI. He is a speaker and trainer on taxation at ICI, Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Company Secretaries of India, Commercial Tax Training Institute, National Academy for Customs, Indirect Taxes and Narcotics, Chennai, Regional Training Institute of C&AG, ICT Part NITE Ayog Initiative. He is the founder partner in GPVS and Associates, a CA firm present at Chennai and Bengaluru, heading the indirect taxation and compliances advisory and litigations vertical. With this brief, I have great pleasure in welcoming Shankara Narayanan sir to handle the first session. May I request Arun sir to present him with a shawl and a bouquet as a token of our love and affection.
One time.
Good morning. GST, when Arun called me and said, Shankar, we want to have a session, but I'll tell you, you don't come and talk about provisions, notifications. I want you to tell cases. Tell me where it pinches and start from the point where it pinches. Meaning, if I talk about a particular provision, for example, input tax credit is being objected, that is, in other words, payment of my complete tax liability is being objected by the department, stating that you cannot pay your full tax liability using only input tax credit. Now, under which rule, which provision, now that is not something which is part of the notice, but it is being objected as even as an audit objection, saying you have paid everything using input tax credit. How is it possible? Why are you doing it? It immediately comes to our mind that we need to refer Rule 86B, then from there we need to take it forward. But when we think about 86B, the next thing that should come to our mind is it really applicable for us? So that is when I understood Arun's perspective. Rather than looking at the provision per se, let's start with the problem. Now officer is telling me that I am not entitled to pay off my complete liability using only input tax credit. Now if he says that, now that is the case or that is the problem. From there we will be able to identify, okay, which is the legal provision which is warranting such wordings from the officer, and then see what are all the exceptions or exclusions that we can get through. For instance, 86B says that your monthly turnover is not going to be greater than 50 lakhs. You are not even attracted under 86B. And it goes further to say that if the taxpayer himself or itself or the partners or directors of the taxpayer happen to be income tax payers who is paying more than rupees 1 lakh. Now then 86B is not going to get attracted. You are entitled to pay everything using input tax credit itself. This I will be able to correlate better, or one will be able to relate better if they had seen practically such a notice. So when 86B itself is not there in the notice, first we need to know what is the problem, then come to 86B, then arrive at what is the exclusion. I am not saying that when we have identified and we are convinced with the legality of the stand that we have taken, it will be accepted by the officer. No, I am not giving that assurance to you, because we have had scenarios where the officer said, no, you have paid only 10,000 rupees tax. I said, no, it is close to 13 lakhs that we have paid. No, out of 13 lakhs, 12 lakh 90,000 is TDS. You have paid only 10,000, so it is still lesser than 1 lakh. Why should I allow you 86B exclusion? So we have had such instances. Hence, at least if we are clear about where we are in terms of the legal provision, I think from there we will be able to better contemplate, defend the stance taken by the taxpayers. That is where I want to set the context from as to how this program is modeled. I have got something like 20 different cases. Some of it are decided cases, some of it are practically what we are going through, some of it we went through and we have got the orders. So it is a combination of all. And of course within a case there will be multiple questions, so I have tried limiting it for one reason, that when we are having it as a monologue kind of session, where the trouble will be if I am going to keep on adding points to it, it will become like a compulsory question in our final exam. By the time we read the question itself, we will get a satisfaction that we have written the exam. But that is hardly 15 minutes of our time that is gone. Hence, I don't want to overdo in terms of number of problems in a particular case. Wanted to break it down, and that is how it has been structured. So to start with, when we have a look at the current scenario that we are going through, which I wanted to highlight, because this is also part of my context setting. And as Arun said, 2 hours for case study and 1 hour for question and answers. I would request you to stop me then and there, and you may please raise your questions. Absolutely no issues in terms of answering the questions, no flow will be disrupted. I will give you the answers then and there. So out of that 1 hour, we can say pounce on another half an hour into the discussion itself. I don't have a problem. Then we can have a dedicated 30 minutes of Q&A. We'll keep it like that. And as I said, as part of setting my context, I need to first convey what is in store for us, or what is ahead of us. From November, I think November 2023, some of you might have felt that every day morning You wake up, you have WhatsApp or you have mails from clients saying that I have got a notice, I have got a notice, I have got an order, unjust notice, do something about it. Various things you would have heard. If you have been completely hearing it all along, I think you are justified in sitting here, because that is where we would have all been justified trying to get an answer, or we wanted to somehow stop this thing from happening. We cannot wish it away. That is what is the concept I want to set with. We cannot wish it away. It is going to be there, and for how long I will set the or draw the inference from section 73. Section 73 is the basic section through which most of the adjudication happens, but many also happen through section 74. With respect to section 73, what is the timeline that is available for a officer to initiate proceedings to pass orders? Now this becomes very important. Why? Because that is the timeline which is available under GST for that person, and is that timeline coinciding with Income Tax or Companies Act? Certainly not. Couple of weeks back, a client of not even a month back, like somewhere in the end of December, a client of mine came to our office for statutory purposes, and he said, okay, 17-18 records we can destroy, no? Was the question that he asked. I told him, this is the start. 17-18 records need to be preserved minimum for another 3 years. You know how income tax period that the period under Companies Act, keep everything aside. GST operates on a different method. No, there also it is 5 years. Correct. 5 years from where is the key question. All of us think about 5 years from where. Same way section 73 is only 3 years. 3 years from where is the key question. 3 years is from the due date of filing annual return for the respective years. Now what is the due date for filing annual return for those respective years? I have taken only 4 years. The first 4 years of GST. 17-18, 18-19, 19-20 and 20-21. For these years, my due dates were 31st of December of the following financial year. But those were the appointed due dates, but these never culminated into the final due dates. For obvious reasons, 17-18 got extended multiple times, and now we have 17-18 extended up to 31st of January 2020. It was not 31st January, 3rd February for some of the taxpayers. For the sake of brevity, I am keeping it as 31st of January 2020. If that is the case, from there, within 3 years, the officer has got a power to pass an order. Now the officer has got power to pass an order within 3 years means within what time the show cause notice has to be issued. That is where collectively when we look at section 73 subsection 10 and 73 subsection 2, we will come to know that he should have given a notice on or before 31st October 2022 for 17-18. I am talking only about 17-18. 17-18, the notice should have been given before 31st of October 2022, which got extended by 168A. By invoking the powers under section 168A, by issuing a notification under notification in the form of 13/2022, this got extended. Now this got extended once. And then on 31st of March 2023, another notification was given under the same section to extend it further. Now that is where we are currently. The extended due date or extended date by which section 73 order must be passed for 17-18 was 31st of December 2023. Okay. Then show cause notice minimum 3 months prior to that. So which makes it 30th of September 2023. Now this will clearly answer the point that why we have been kept busy in the last 3 months. So starting November or sometime in mid of October, notices flew or notices were given sometime in end of September. People noticed in October onwards, and they were chasing the timeline or the deadline of 31st of December by which the order had to be passed. So the same thing had happened to 18-19 also, 19-20 also, and these 18-19 and 19-20 also got extended slightly, which was originally the last date for passing order for 18-19 was 31st of March 2024. But towards the end of December, the government felt that so much of effort is going from the tax officers side for getting their assessment completed for 17-18 itself, they extended it by 1 month. So the last date for passing order for 18-19 as it stands today is 30th of April 2024, which meant the show cause notice can be given up until 31st of January 2024.
this was the respite that they got in the last week of December. So they had to deal with 17-18 only up to 31st of December 2023. 18-19 show cause notices can be given up to 31st of January 2024. Now that is what we are seeing. Is it the end of all? No, we are still not out of water. 31st of March 2024 assumes one more importance, because for 1920, the last date for issue of show cause notice is 31st of March 2024, and last date for issue of order for 1920 is 30th of June 2024. Now you would have guessed till how long we will be such ultra busy. The notices will not stop, and there is a small hiatus in between, because the next due date will start somewhere in November for 2021, but don't worry, we have our tax audit seasons and income tax. So forget about life, think only about two taxes. Your life will go on for next 8 to 9 months. And in a way it is good, in a way it is bad. Because in a way it is good, you get to see many problems, you get to see many notices. It is bad because you don't get to see anything other than that. That is all you get to see day in and day out. This I had put in here only for educational purposes. Don't think of it as a means to scare. I am not trying to scare, I am not trying to implant any apprehension in your minds. All I am trying to tell you is preempting. If you think it will get better tomorrow, no, it is not getting any better before June or any better before April, because that is when you will see the only 1 year needs to be handled, which is 1920. That status will come only at that time. As it stands today, next month we will all be reaching different state, because 2 years need to be handled. 1920, 18-19, both need to be handled. One end you will be appearing for a show cause notice, one end you will be appearing for an audit. I had funny situation. I went and met an assistant commissioner. He looked at me for few seconds of pause, and then he asked me, "Why have you come?" I was like, I took offense. Sir, why have you come? No, what have you come? Is it for audit of this client which I am looking at, or is it for adjudication of that client whose audit was looked up by some other officer, or is it for refund claim? Because everything is pending with me. I know, yes, not just you, many such officers we have to meet. So he himself was taken aback that such is the amount of pressure they are also going through. Who is the reason for it? I will not name it, but that is something which they could have done earlier also. At least in Central we don't have this rush, but Central also, I have had cases where orders have been passed in December or third week of December, but the orders were delivered only in January, only to see that 17-18 they have confirmed some demand. We will have some cases to discuss on that, but this, as I said, is to just convey the context to you as to how the next 6 or 8 months is going to be. And then, while I have discussed about 73, I will be failing if I don't discuss 74, because this is where I answered my client who said I will destroy 2017-18 books. Hold, they have right up to 31st of July 2024 time for issuing show cause notice for 17-18 under section 74, because the time limit is 5 years. 5 years starts from 31st of January 2020, and the show cause notice has to be issued 6 months before. So technically 4 years and 6 months starts from there. Now calculate. And if there is going to be a dispute, we are going to take it up to the appellate authority. Then it will continue further, because till the time the order is given, we cannot destroy. When the order is given, we are happy about it, department is not happy. Till the time the tribunal is constituted, till the time the order is passed by the tribunal, if the department goes for an appeal, we cannot destroy. And even if an order is passed by the tribunal, department does not take any action, I will have to wait for 1 year from the date of order to assume that the matter is put to rest, and then only destroy the books and records for 17-18. So, your guess. Let us assume for a minute that July 2024 we will see tribunals. Do you foresee any orders being passed by the tribunals in the next 3 months? No. They will have enough time only to accept. And then there have to be hearings, then there have to be order, and from order there have to be 1 year within which the department does not go to appeal. Then we can think about destroying records. So the bottom line is 17-18 onwards, the books and records will have to be preserved for a longer period of time. GST requires it. And now the next part, which will directly drive us towards our today's discussion. Now I have tried doing my little research, and I found that adjudication orders can be passed by the department at any of these sections, including section 52. Some of us might be surprised to even find that out. TCS related assessment can be done under section 52 itself by the officer. So from there, all these sections are available in the hands of the officer to do adjudication. Orders can be basically passed under any of these sections, which means these are adjudication enabled sections. But today's context, we are only harping on 73, 74, some amount of 75 and 76, and of course, yes, e-way bill 129, we will be dealing with read with rule 138. So that is what is the structure of the case studies for today. We will move into the cases. How I will do is, maybe I'll take a hand mic, read it out for the benefit of everyone, and then we will discuss about it, or maybe we can contemplate. I'll go about my part of the story or how this case has come out. Just a moment, I'll grab a hand mic.
Sir. No, sir. Voice get
Okay. A Limited was registered under GST. They were issued an SCN, show cause notice, for 2017-18, which was served online. SCN was not noticed by the company. Consequently, it got confirmed as an order of demand on 30th of December 2023. A Limited noticed the order only on 4th of January 2024 and scrutinized the order only to conclude that the demand of tax rise has already been paid during their annual return filing. That time itself they have paid the tax by using DRC 03. So, the tax team of the company, what they did, they approached the adjudication officer saying that, sir, you have raised a demand, but see, we have already paid the tax. Now tell me what you can do. Can you rectify the order under section 161? Was the request from the tax team. The officer readily accepted and said, I will rectify the order. That's all. Is there a problem? I will reiterate the case. Order passed for 17-18 before 31st of December 2023. After 31st of December 2023, a rectification is being sought, stating that the order is erroneous to this extent, or the order is not having a valid consideration of my side of the story. What is the recourse available or the redressal available to the taxpayer? Can he seek rectification? He has sought rectification. The officer has assured that I will give you rectification. Is this fine? We can even go common sense. Forget 161. Can he rectify 161? Most of the cases, this is what is happening. The officers, that is why I have taken it as a first case. The officer is assuring, okay, no problem, I will give you rectification. Please tell me, an order is passed under section 73. Now, if he is going to rectify, whether it is a matter of fact that is getting rectified or whether it is going to be a matter of law that is being misinterpreted or misunderstood by the officer in the original order, that he is getting corrected by way of rectification. Under which section he will be passing the order? It is an original order passed under section 73. He is doing a rectification. After rectification, the order will be under which section? I will give you two choices. 73, 161.
73.
It will be under 73 only. No, 161 is not a provision which enables passing of order, which only gives you the power to rectify. Correct? So the order has to be still under section 73. Now tell me, under section 73, do I have the power to pass an order after 31st of December 2023 for 1718? Can I rectify?
But rectification can be done, sir.
Sir, rectification of the demand, an order has to be passed.
Okay.
That order is passed under which section? That's all. I have to pass an order. Under which section? 73. Sorry?
It's giving effect to the earlier order.
Absolutely fine. So it is giving effect to an earlier order, it is giving effect to a blatant mistake. All that is logical. So legally tell me, is he entitled to pass an order after 31st of December for 1780? That's 73 amount. Now, if you say that is the case, the officer can rectify on the other side also by increasing your demand. Now, will you object to that? For instance, he has put in his order, leaving one point that was copied from Shoka's notice, and now he wants to rectify. Will you allow it?
In 161, that is whenever the demand is increased, a personal opportunity has to be given.
Correct. 161. That is it. No, I'm coming to the point that can he pass an order in the first place? Let alone the giving of opportunity. That is principles of natural justice. Can he pass an order? Which in my view is not possible. because the order still has to be under section 73, and section 73 timelines are not altered by section 161. 161 though says within 3 months from the date of order, you can seek rectification. Or suo motu, the officers themselves can come in within 6 months from the date of order. But these 3 months and 6 months are not beyond the time limit that is allocated by 73. These need to be operated within the time limit that is given under section 73. Hence, first point that I want to start off with is, any assurance of rectification for 1780, you know how to handle it. And I will tell you the bad part that we are going through. Some of the cases, the demand confirmed is crores. 5 crore company, the demand confirmed is 20 crores. That is because they have taken something. For one of my client, ISD registration, they have passed an order assessing them under 3B. Saying that 3B is not filed for these years. ITC so much is appearing, plus 10%, plus GST. So they have calculated. Calculation order is perfect. I am telling sir, he is not a taxpayer, he is an ISD. No, why can't he file 3B? He cannot file 3B. No, everybody has to file 3B. Excellent. And I can't do anything. So now this order has been accepted by the officer saying that, oh, now I realize he will rectify. But will he rectify? And second test of that rectification is, if he rectifies, assume we think that it is over. Will C&AG or an officer reviewing that order will accept? Legality needs to be seen. See, there are two things. We go for alternative dispute resolution mechanism, or we go under the law. Either way you go, it will still be weighed out by one person in terms of whether it is complying with the legal provisions. Somebody sometime later, 2 months later, 6 months later will come back and say, sir, it is not even within the time limit. The order cannot be.
So, but in section 161, there is no wording saying that the time limit has to be within section 70.
Correct.
So, any order passed by the officer
So that
can
is
be
where I am coming
rectified.
to. That is where I am coming to. It doesn't say time limit. Does it also say that section 73 time limit should not be considered?
Sir, but it starts with notwithstanding class, sir.
So what?
So this will override that section, sir.
In terms of timeline?
This will override everything, no?
I don't think so. In terms of time limit, it will not. So rectification.
Why? Because 161 also talks about the time limit within which the rectification has to be done.
3 months and 6 months.
Yes.
So, and it starts with notwithstanding anything contained in any of the provisions of the Act. So this time limit will hold good, no?
I will come to the notwithstanding part. Notwithstanding part is with respect to rectification.
Correct.
It is not with respect to the time limit.
Rectification, there's no time limit.
Now we will come back again. Will order be passed under 161 or 73?
73.
Is the notwithstanding in 161 empowering 73? Or should the law be amended in such a way that rectification order should be under 161? First question that I asked. The order is going to be under 73 or 161? Which has got more power? Notwithstanding, sir, it is non-obstante. Non-obstante is 161. But still the order has to be under 73. In 73, do we have a provision saying that non-obstante clause 161 used and passed orders need not follow time limit? Is it there? Either one has to be there. Either one is not present, it is bad law probably. I will not discuss much. But is it good in law? Will we be able to provide? No. Is it a straightforward path to reach the rectification? No. Which is why this rectification, I personally feel, is not tenable for beyond time orders. Now this also emphasizes one more point, that for the next years, don't let the officer pass the order by the last date. Ensure that you are able to get the order at least 15 days earlier. For instance, 1819 is 30th of April, 1920 is 30th of June. Ensure that it is at least 15 days earlier, because in Tamil Nadu how it is happening is, central orders are given manually and then it is getting uploaded, and that too only the DRC 07 after the repeated queries that we place or request we place. Hence, in central you need to ensure it is even more, that is even earlier, 1 month, so that you have enough time to even receive the order and then talk about it. In case of state, at least you get it in the portal immediately. So there you can go and refer to the portal and check whether what has happened to me. There you can give yourself a lesser time, maybe even a week should do, or 2 weeks is comfortable time. Why that time that you should give for yourself is, if you find there is something blatantly mistake or blatantly in error, you can go back, approach them and say, seek rectification. You are not giving yourself an opportunity of rectification if you are allowing the officer to pass it on the last date. We have learned the hard lesson in 1780. I have got 2 rectifications done yesterday. The client is elated. I have told him, you be elated, I am not happy. This will be questioned in future. Because he was able to provide I went to the officer, initially we discussed, the officer said we will rectify. Then that moment I realized that this rectification is not going to go through. But somehow he got convinced and he was able to do it as a rectification. Luckily in that case the rectification was because the demand was already covered in another order, which is in appeal now. They had passed one more order for the same matter in demand. 13 items are there in that order in appeal. 2 items they have passed one order. So he said, fine, considering that it is a duplicate, I am dropping it. But even that dropping order, I have my doubts. Because can he pass the dropping order after 31st of December is the point in contention. So, 1, rectification, a combination of section 161 with section 73. Any? Yeah.
Sir, you said 2 points for rectification. One is on matter of fact, second is on matter of difference of opinion in law. Difference of opinion
No,
of
not
law.
difference of opinion in law. Error in law, interpretation, which officer himself, in one paragraph he says it is liable, and in the other paragraph he says no, it is not liable. The assertion that he takes, inconsistency.
Mistakes apparent on the order.
Yes, inconsistency within their own assertion. That they can change. Sometimes it happens, no? He will say 2A versus 3B, but when confirming he will say RCM is not paid. But the same amount he would have confirmed. Something like that. 9-4 he will say he has invoked. It does not mean it is RCM. What he meant was 2A versus 3B, something like that. The next case that I want to progress is with respect to this magical document, DRC 1A. I will discuss about it, its implication little later. To start with, Mr. Z has been served a show cause notice and a summary in DRC 01 by his jurisdictional officer. So he is given a show cause notice and a summary of the show cause notice in DRC 01. Now Mr. Z contends that the officer has erred in issuing the show cause notice directly in the first instance. He is of the view that he should not have issued the show cause notice directly. What he is pleading or alleging is that as per Rule 142 sub Rule 1A, the officer should have first issued a DRC 01A, a pre-consultative notice, as it is the term which is coined by Honorable Supreme Court in case of Canon India judgment. In the customs judgment, they propelled this matter by saying when you are going to give a show cause notice, you are reasonably confirming the demand or you have reasonable evidence to confirm the demand. When you do that, why don't you give an opportunity to the taxpayer to have a pre-consultation? Before even confirming or before even issuing a show cause notice, have a consultation with the taxpayer and tell him, see, this is what I intend to confirm. Do you really want to at this stage back off and say, okay, I will pay? Do you want to do that? That opportunity you give to the taxpayer, and prescriptive in nature is what the Supreme Court said, and said you can give a consultative notice. After that, in 2019 October, Rule 142 1A was amended to say that the officer shall issue a DRC 1A. In 2020 October, exactly 1 year later, the shall was replaced with okay. Now you know where I am coming to in my case. So tell me, is the assessee justified in raising a question to the departmental officer stating that, sir, how dare you directly give me show cause notice and DRC 1? You should have followed the principles of natural justice as propelled by our Honorable Supreme Court. You should have started with DRC 1A and then only you should have come to show cause notice. Is the grievance of this taxpayer valid? Can you say that you must give DRC 1A and then only come to show cause notice? What is your view?
I think they should issue, sir. Because of 73(4).
73(4) is still talking about a...
They have an opportunity to pay the tax.
Correct. That opportunity. Okay, you deem that as a
Basis.
basis for
You should
what
be
you
given an
want.
opportunity to pay the tax.
Agreed. Okay. The taxpayer should be given an opportunity to pay the tax. Failing which the show cause notice proceedings can be initiated. This is 73(4). Okay. Now, my question again, I will repeat. Is it mandatory on the tax officer to initiate DRC 1A or is it not? As of now, the officers are seriously considering DRC 1A as may, not as shall. And in couple of the cases that I encountered, I also felt that 73(4) is satisfied, but not 142A, but that is fine. I'll tell you how. An A7010 was issued, the assessee forgot to reply for the A7010 in A7011. Now the officer said, I will go to DRC1. That is, I will directly go to show cause notice and DRC01. I will not be bothered about giving a DRC1A. Now when I asked them why not DRC1A, he said May is the first thing, and second, I have already given you an opportunity by giving A7010. In which form? No, I said that is under section 61. No, you are giving me a scrutiny notice. Sir, I have told you these are the differences I am finding. In whichever way I communicate, you are duty bound to identify the difference and come and pay the tax. You didn't. So why can't I go to DRC 01? That is show cause notice directly. Agreed. Point taken. Second is audit. When audit happens, the audit para, the audit slip is given. Now when that is given, that is a communication of your liability. This is what I am going to expect from you, or this is what I expect from you to be paid as tax. Now when that is given, you still expect a DRC1A, why should I give you? I can directly take the matter into show cause notice. So the 142(1)A, which was shall, which has become may, is a point to be noted, which slowly, because of the time, lack of time, the officers have also, they also have to find out a way out. Now they have found a way out, saying that we will use this provision. Hence, for 1920, you may not see DRC01A in many of the cases. It may directly be DRC01 and especially A7010 cases. Now this complicates the matter because A7010 now has to be taken really seriously. Because if A7010 is not taken seriously, that can result directly in a proceeding, that a proper proceeding being initiated against me. Case number 2. Anything to be discussed or any point that you want to raise?
Even for 1819 also, the officers are directly issued DRC01 on 31st of January.
DRC01, without even going into 1 year. The thought process has emerged in December. They have put it into practice in the next possible day, which is 31st of December, 31st of January. Yes, because what they wanted to somehow get out of this DRC1A, because work back. When you do a back working, you will see order 3 months. So from the due date of order, I need to take show cause notice to order 3 months back, and from there, I need to give you minimum, say 1 month for DRC1A reply. I give 15 days. Obviously, you will ask another 15 days. So it will go to 4 months. So I am going back by 4 months. Do I really have 4 months from now? Look at 1920. 30th June is the last date for cause and order under section 73. We are in February, mid or end of towards the end of February. Where do they have 4 months? So they will feel that okay, fine. How to bypass May? And this is more important because in 19, when the amendment was brought in, it was shall. In 20, the amendment was brought in to remove shall and convert it to may. So the 142(1)A as it stands today is only directive. It is not having a imposing power to say this has to be done, then only we can move to the next part. It is not there.
When I spoke with one of the officers is saying that I am issuing you notice today. When I read the law or rules today, it says May. So I issued the notice. You cannot say me to go to 1819 what was the rule that day, and based on that you have to issue the notice for 1819.
Correct.
I am reading now the law, it says May, so for 1819 I am issuing you the notice.
Yeah, the proceeding is being initiated now. Now as the law stands, I have to do this. Yes, he is justified in saying that.
The 73(4) you were telling, sir.
Yes.
Suppose if there is no audit, there is no nothing.
That is where DRC1A can be disputed by me as principles of natural justice violation. Where I can say that, see, you never told me anything, suddenly I come to my portal, I see a show cause notice. Now, those are the cases where that is how people react. And that incidentally brings me to one of the cases decided by Madras High Court. East Coast Construction is the name, if I am right. What happened? It was a funny thing because I was with the advocate on that day evening. So what they had mooted in the court, the previous day the advocate had called me and said, show me. So I had showed in the screens. In the screens, as people who are traversing through the screens, you would be aware that all the state government notices comes under few additional notices and orders. Whereas now, after the instruction number 4/2023, central officers are also mandatorily expected to upload a DRC1 and 7, which they do it in few notices and orders. So what had happened? He went through this, he asked me why it is appearing in additional notices and orders. That company was under state jurisdiction. So when we went, it was under additional notices and orders. So he looked at it and said, it is under additional notices. Why is it not appearing under view notices and orders? I never realized. I told him, sir, fine, but anyway, it is appearing, no? This is different. Next day, he won the case only on this point. He said the order is not served, notice is not served. The department leader said, no, it is there on the portal. Then he said, yes, it is there on the portal. It is not under notices and orders, it is under additional notices and orders. Why is it under additional notices and orders? Is the question he posted. No, judge posted that question. The department representative said, it is a glitch. Because you cannot say it was not there, but he says it is there. That is why he didn't say it was not there. He initially said it was not there. They came back saying it is there. Then he said, yes, it is there, but not under the place where it should be. It is in a different place. Now they are in the back foot and they said, immediately you have to answer. No, what else he will do? He will refer and say, it is a technical glitch, we are working on it. Then considering it, the matter should be remanded back. The matter was remanded back. Now people are clapping outside the court because 19 such cases were there. Now, this is not the end of it. The fun happened in 1 week. GST portal changed. Most of you would have realized that now notices and orders and additional notices are the same screen. Why? Because of this order. Madras High Court order. Because this happened, now everybody will make use of this. The moment you have a precedence, what else is stopping you from getting it? You just have to say covered case, my lord. You will be able to come out with the judgment. So immediately what they did, blocked it that way by saying, see, I am now showing both in the same screen. It is not as if you need to go to a separate screen, take an effort to understand what is the notice. So now both are in the same screen. Tell me where you will go and get it. This is what is the response given by the department. Now whether a grievance ticket will be acted with such a hurried response, I doubt. But this had to be responded. Yes, many people will put down the order. So that is where I am also coming to the another point on 1718. Before we close this 1718. If I go to a court and it says it has to be remanded back, and I am setting aside the order, re-adjudicate. Tell me, can they re-adjudicate now? 73.
Time limit to go.
That's all. So that is where I am harping on 73 alone, because 30th December order, if it goes to court, the court says principles of natural justice not followed, I am setting it aside, go back and re-adjudicate. They cannot pass an order under 73 again. Because for 1718, time limit is over. They don't have to give a separate show cause notice. Agree. But even with the limited time, there was no stay given by the court. In the first hearing itself, they are saying, go back. Then there is no time to exclude, because you gave the order on 30th December. I went to the court in January. It sets it aside, over. You cannot adjudicate under 73 by 1718 again. Such is the peril from the department side for delaying their adjudication. Now, when on one end we are liable, we are made forced to go to court.
Court order will say no, sir.
Will it prevail over 73? Again, I will come to that, sir. They will have to pass an order. Court says re-adjudicate. It doesn't say you pass an order within 8 weeks. Sir. It says re-adjudicate. Can he re-adjudicate? He has already taken enough time and passed the order on the last day. What is the maximum re-adjudication that he has? He doesn't have any time limit. Yes, sir.
So as we can see, the time limit issue show cause notice have expired for 1718. So now the GST audits are on the way.
Yes.
So they have been adjudicated for 1718.
Excellent question. Which has been answered in Madras High Court again. Where I think ABT Parcel Service, they went on a writ petition saying for 1718 people have approached for audit. Department is giving a notice for audit. Why? How come they can issue 1718 audit notice? Because in audit you will find data only from my records. And when it is apparent on my record, you cannot initiate a proceeding against me under 74. I will say that there is no intention to evade tax. Give me a moment, I will find a place. Okay. For 1718, where are we? 1718 is the audited section 65 is initiated. What will happen? This 65 initiation does not mean 73 alone will be invoked. Department has used that. See, I want to audit your records. From your records, I might also get additional evidence that there was culpable state of mind in your part.
So 74.
There could be mens rea. So I will obviously invoke 74. You cannot say I will not show 1718 because you cannot pass an order 73. I may infer information in such a way that it will enable by 74 proceedings. So cannot object. Madras High Court.
After the date of 74, maybe.
Obviously, after the date of 74, if he subjects me to audit, I will have the free will to say, sir, what will you do after seeing 1718? What will you do? Please tell me. He can ask that question. So, till July 2024, if they subject you to 1718 audit, we cannot agitate. You will have to accept the 1718 audit notice and give the data still. One more point that incidentally came through part of our discussion.
Yeah, even then I feel there should be due date or date mentioned in the audit provision also.
Which is not there. See, that is why I told you. 73, 161 problem was also bad in law. 65 also has a limitation in terms of restriction. We'll have to see how it emerges. That is why the tribunal we are looking forward, because some monumental judgments can come, wherein they feel genuinely assessee is being put in hardship. Why can't this be changed? For instance, refunds, which I think tomorrow a speaker is taking up separately. Interest should be automatic for delay. If that happens, I think everything will set aside, or it will happen naturally, normally. Now, I want to go to the next.
The department is improving 74. It is the responsibility of them to prove that it is their
Correct.
intention to evade tax.
Correct.
But for notices that we are receiving from state, where they are giving 74, nothing.
There is nothing that is mentioned. Sir, that is why I am strongly of the view, in court we will be able to prevent. See, when I tell, there is this basic that I have to have an assertion, I have to have a reason to have that assertion, and then only I should proceed. It is not there. We are seeing sundry data being subjected to 18%, sir. Sundry data. Forget about, at least creditors I can relate somewhere the tangent, because you are talking about a 16.2 proviso, right? Is what I can. I will put words in your mouth and I will try to understand what you are trying to tell. So, but at least creditors I can do that effort. In creditors also it is, what should I say, not pardonable if it is being taken, the loan creditors are also taken, and 18% is salary payable, only 18%.
Depreciation.
No, depreciation. No, depreciation I have a valid point. 16.3. What they are trying to do is 16.3 is what they want to find, but they are not asking 16.3. It is like a kid. It will cry. You don't know what for it is crying. Some discomfort or it needs feeding. You don't know. You just have to find out and do. To that extent you have that mindset, else you will get agitated with the officer. But that is not encouraged. So point is, when we know that it is relatable indirectly to some provision, at least we can give an answer which we will be able to be tell client that see I have given a reply. But if this is going to be like data is 18%, we don't have a stand at all. In those cases, that is where I feel that we are stronger. But only thing is that liability, especially coming towards February, March, people will be afraid of the contingent liability qualification, which is putting them back. Multinational companies with such an amount of notice pending or even an order pending, where we are approaching the High Court or we are even going it for a appellate authority level, for them reporting it, the CFO who is sitting here, he will be looked down as a person who is not able to manage the litigation. Now, those are the pains that assessee is put through. Eventually, I am very sure nobody is going to take 18% on data. That will not happen. Anyway, there are a few other points which I will cover as I come into the next cases. So, there are 2-3 cases which I have modeled only for Tamil Nadu. One, to pass that common knowledge as to how things happen. It happens differently in state, differently in the central jurisdiction. Hence, I have put it like this. The case is that B Limited was subjected to inspection under Section 67 by the DGGA, Director General of GST Intelligence of CGST. B Limited is actually a taxpayer who is allocated to state GST. He is not even concerned with the central GST, but he is being inspected by central GST officers, central GST inspection team. Is the inspection by DGGI valid on this person? This is my first question. I am an assessee allocated to state. Some of you, forgive if I am being very rudimentary, but I have to tell you this. How to find out whether I am allocated to central or state? Please go to profile. In my GST login, once you go into the login, you will be able to see my profile. Once you click on that, you will be able to see your trade name, your name and details. There, you will see central jurisdiction, state jurisdiction. Out of these two, one will be red in color. That red in color is your mother jurisdiction. Some of us, both are not in red, both are in black. So you just need to wait for the first notice. Who will adopt you? You will know only the first notice comes. The first shout comes, okay, he is my mother jurisdiction. Because I have seen that scenario also where it was in both the cases. And some cases what we did, we purposefully applied for refund. We got a call, then we said, okay, we come under state, let us delete it. We withdrew the applications. That is also another way in which you can find out who am I allocated to. But if it is already appearing in red, in this case, B Limited already having that jurisdiction allocated to state, that is Tamil Nadu state GST, but they are subjected to inspection under Section 67 by the central GST officers. First question, many of the fellow professionals ask me is it even valid, Shankar? The answer is a resounding yes. It is valid. This is something called as cross-empowerment. They can come to these people and these people can go to their jurisdiction, there is no problem. And one more professional asked, which was even more thoughtful of him. He said, will they collect only CGST, SGST? Meaning, if the central officer comes, will they collect only CGST? Or will they collect SGST also? I told them they will collect the both taxes. Hence, it does not matter who ends up in my premises, whether it is the central officer or state officer, as long as he has the power to enter, which is under section 67, as defined under that, I will have to provide the data. Now then, the next question, obviously, that will come to our mind is, when I said cross-empowerment, how can I be provided a relief? Because at the same time, I will be inspected by that team. For example, from 17-18 to 22-23 or 23-24, they are doing an inspection. There is an audit also ordered by my state office. My state officers are saying, I will come for section 65 audit. No, is this possible? Possible. But can I get a relief? Yes. Section 62B. That is the provision which gives you the relief. Which says that if I am subjected to, for the same proceeding, for the same year, under one kind of officers or one brand of officers, for the same period, same matter, some other officer is initiating, I can tell them, hold on, something else is happening there, I will give data there, let this conclude. Now, till the time it gets concluded, this officer cannot initiate anything. But I want to give you the word of caution. After it gets concluded, he can initiate audit, again for the same year. There is no exclusion that once that procedure is over, you should never be touched. There is no such thing called never be touched.
But the demand will not.
If he finds out the same matter, it will not come. If he comes and he finds out something else, the demand will come. So that is where we have to be first not agitated or push back the tax officer saying that you cannot even come. No. He has got all the rights to step in, cross-empowerment is there, and the second officer can also order any audit on me. I will have to accept and deliver the information. Whether he is having a demand on the same matter or not is a different matter altogether. That is the matter of fact. But can he enter? Can he do? Yes.
By the time the time limit is over, then we cannot.
That anyway is there. That is overall time limit. It is like we give our heart and soul and play. 45 minutes is over, that's all. Match over. So the next part of my...
So he can initiate the proceedings as well. When 1 month, when proceedings are
He
going
can.
on state, he can also initiate a proceeding.
That is what is happening now. Rule 9610, nobody can do, or certain people cannot do with the payment of IGST export refund. I come under state. I am being subjected to audit by state. I am also being parallelly inspected by DGGA. Now DGGA, the reason that they gave was, see, I am not touching you on your audit matter and all. I am touching only on refund. So which is a matter which is beyond your audit. Maybe you are auditing, you tell them don't touch refund. Because I am here only for 9610 violation.
But the first proceeding which was initiated, let us suppose audit was initiated, then we can also request DGGA that audit is going on.
Correct. Which is what we told. Then DGGA gave exclusivity letter saying we are dealing only with your 9610.
So refund will also be taken care of by audit.
Yes, that is where he said that you please tell your audit officers not to look at refund, but this part alone I am looking at. Apart from this, anything else he can actually get. 62B, he brought the same thing and said, same matter is not there, it is different matter, proceedings for the same year allowed. I knew that's what we had to accept, but for the client's sake, we need to make a representation, get a confirmation. See, it is like advance ruling. When we tell, Ganesh Prabhu, second speaker, he will tell you, he was telling me one day, dejected, Shankar, people will trust car salesman, they will not trust us. Then I told him, why are you so distraught? Oh, no, see, yesterday one fellow comes and says, I am buying BMW, you said credit is not there, salesman says it is eligible. And he said, sir, you avail ITC, sir. You believe salesman, you don't believe me, you avail ITC, case or more, because that is where you will end up with ultimately. So that is where we are compared with. Imagine with whom we are competing, salesmen. Other than insurance policy, one person was saying, sir, they said I can avail. I can avail. It says clearly medical and life you cannot avail. No, the insurance, the policy selling person said. What can I say? All I can do is, sir, from my reading, all I can tell is it is not eligible. Risk is yours. Like advance ruling. I will tell them it is 18%. No. Opposite party are not selling for 12. Come, we go for advance ruling. Because I know it is always adverse ruling. Anything bad can happen, that will only be confirmed by advance. We got it confirmed. Now he doesn't have anything to say. He'll accept. The second part of my problem was, further, DRC1A was issued by DGGI of CGST. So who has given me the pre-consultative notice is the DGGI, who has given the CGST officer, who has given the DRC1A. Is this valid? And we limited wishes to know who will be my adjudication officer and whom they need to deal with to bring the matter to a closure. I'm not talking about consultancy, I'm talking about the departments, whom they need to deal with. So DRC1A was issued by DGGA. I was subjected to inspection by Intelligence Wing of Central. Intelligence Wing of Central has issued a DRC1A. Now they want to know further proceedings, DRC1, DRC7, who will give? How will we go through? This is the common problem, and that is why I have taken this. In case of central jurisdictional authority stepping in, DGGA or inspection, to be very specific, the show cause notice up until that will be handled by the inspection. Moment a show cause notice is issued, the matter will be transferred to your jurisdiction. Now, in this case, it is complicated because my jurisdiction is state. So what they will do, my jurisdiction that you are seeing in black in your profile, no, under central, because you are allocated to state, means your state will only be in red. Your central will be in black, but that central jurisdiction, to them it will be transferred. You will still be dealing with a CGST officer only for adjudicating the whole matter, but he will be or she will be a completely different person than the one who did the inspection. Inspection, up to show cause notice, they will leave the game, give the baton to the adjudicating officer of the jurisdiction of central under whom you are. So in Chennai terms, you can imagine, I will come either from Dreams Road to Newry Towers or from Numapakam to maybe Newry Towers or Nandaram. Depends upon, that is my adjudication office, but this is my intelligence team where they sit. That is how it will happen for CGST related inspections. Practically, you need to be aware, even if I am allocated to state, you will be handling two different set of CGST officers. One for the inspection and one for adjudication of the matter once the show cause notice is issued. Now I want to take it to...
But they give the direction to the state jurisdiction officers to conduct the case.
No.
They have one case.
They have given us it. Okay.
Notice the intimation had got the state officer with the findings of the DGJ and the state officer is conducting.
Okay. This must have been before 10th October 2023.
Yes.
Because 10th October 2023 something happened for which I have got this. Because Tamil Nadu GST inspection matters, how it need to be decided, had undergone a change. For that only I put this case. Forget about the date. Now we will come to the current proceedings, our current provisions as it is. Now the scenario is, CN company, a partnership firm, was subjected to inspection under section 67 by the inspection wing of Tamil Nadu GST. But CN Co is a taxpayer allocated to central GST. You are able to see the opposite thing happening here. And the question is, DRC1A was issued by the inspection wing of TN GST only. Inspection wing, they have separately inspection 1, inspection 2, they issue the DRC1A. Now, is this valid? Second, who will be my adjudication officer? The same question. First one, then I am inspected by central. Now I am inspected by state. But I am allocated to central. Who will do my adjudication? Yes.
What was issued DRC1A?
1A?
By default.
Yeah. So it is issued by the inspection team. In central, I told you, inspection team issues DRC1. Adjudication happens at the jurisdictional office.
State inspection separately.
Exactly. That is the tectonic shift that they took from October 2023. They said hereafter, inspection team issues DRC1A. Inspection team will only take up show cause notice DRC1. Inspection team will only do order passing also. But one thing we will ensure, DRC1 giving officer will not adjudicate.
Different officer.
Within the inspection team, exactly. Within the same inspection team, some other officer will do the adjudication. So see the contrasting styles when we are subjected to inspection by central, up until DRC1 it will be by the inspection team, adjudication will be by the local adjudication office of the central. Whereas in case of state inspection, everything will be done by state inspection team only, but only the officers will change internally. That is, up until show cause notice, the officer who had come for the inspection will pass the show cause, issue the show cause notice, and then from there the order will be taken care by the another officer in the same inspection office. And for that, there was a dearth of assistant commissioners, because the limit of order was in the Tamil Nadu state for inspection alone. It is there. It is not there for adjudication. For inspection orders, there is a limit, adjudication limit. Up until 1 crore, it is for STO, and beyond 1 crore to 5 crore, it was assistant commissioner. Now what they have done, they have extended that limit by giving a provision in the circular by 10th of 2023 that the STOs where there is not enough assistant commissioners to pass, they can exercise the same power that is available to an assistant commissioner to pass an order. This is for inspection where up to 5 crores also can be passed by STO. Now when it comes to adjudication, remember there is no limit. DSTO can pass an order for 20 crores also. Adjudication is different. This is an adjudication happening subsequent to an inspection. Direct adjudication, there is no monetary limit in the state of Tamil Nadu, which is another completely different matter. But to show the difference, central inspection, how that is getting adjudicated 74, state inspection 74, how that is getting adjudicated. So know where to go, where this will end up, and how to handle the matter. The next part is
there has been a matter, sir.
Yes, sir.
Same inspection was happening in the state. State has also issued DRC01, state has also passed DRC07. The same matter now being again a show cause notice has been issued by the jurisdictional officer. You have to again reply the same thing, that this is already being covered, because this jurisdictional officer doesn't know that there was
another proceeding that happened earlier. But good thing is, if it's the same matter, we give the same answer, we'll be able to come out.
But again, that officer, no, you give all the documents. So it is again 1800 pages.
We know, generating working paper. We have done it in our article sheet. Have you done it? Yes, see working paper size. Nowadays it is all flat files and computers. Nowadays that is how it used to happen. Did you vouch? Vouch see. So many comments I would have written, which will all be copied from last year audit paper. Photocopies of last year audit papers. Anyway, we know it. So they just need to create an evidence that whatever question I asked, I am at least able to get an answer and I got convinced. Then only I am passing an order. Okay. Yeah.
In some cases, what happens is there is a glitch in the system. So the officers, say for example, from Nagaram, they issue a notice that we have been answering all that hard copy because the system is not accepting those.
When you say Nandana madam, YMCA side or opposite side? Because rendu பேருமே Nandana தான் இருக்கு. I told my client officer I am going to Nandana. எங்க போறீங்க Nandana? எங்கடா போவாங்க? இல்ல இந்த ஆத்தங்கரை இந்த பக்கம் இவங்க ஆத்தங்கரை அந்த பக்கம் அவங்க.
Because what happened is after due to glitch it was not.
I am assuming it is about CGST.
Yes.
Period building. Yeah, go ahead.
So after some point of time, what happened is it was operated in Adanagar.
Okay.
They said they don't have the physical copies, and nothing was there in the system also. So they said everything you need to submit it again. Do they physically transfer the files, or it doesn't happen automatically?
That is something which they should have done. They have not done. So you have a golden opportunity. Give a letter. You also give a letter to another jurisdictional officer saying, or whoever was the officer who took care of the inspection, I want the copies of all the records. Till you give the copies, I will not be able to go to the adjudication officer. Just give a letter. The matter might come to a complete standstill. It has already been done in some of the cases by me. So we are already doing it, and that is the department is also living up to their expectation. Like you said, it never got transferred to Greenstone Tournament. And they say we don't have it, and he said we never received it. But we have given something like 2,000 pages of literature, different documents, copies of books or copies of M books, various things we have given. So that can be taken as a measure. But try and see whether you will be able to give the data, because towards the end of the due date, the officer will say, okay, you are supposed to give, you never gave. So based upon whatever records I have, I will pass the order. Because he will also say, see, I had asked for records from my earlier team, that is the one who is the inspecting officer. He did not give. That is an internal proceeding, we will take it up. But assessing, we will never leave you. We will make you part of it and we will pass the order.
Pass the order against us.
So we will end up in a litigation. Fine. These are exceptions.
Similarly, in the state, they are auditing, sir.
Yeah.
That audit.
They're auditing. Yeah.
They're actually issuing auditing and.
So standing here and saying audit.
So we have been all hard copy files and they are actually auditing and they are giving it notice.
Okay.
Once show cause notice is given, it is done by adjudicating officer in the
Yes.
state.
It doesn't get transferred.
Right. So what happens is like when we go and tell, they are asking the files that we have already produced to the audit. The audit department is completely having all the files, but they are not giving it back.
Ideally, there should be a procedure to say when it is transferred, it should go. In Central, at least one thing happens. Whatever they scan through e-office gets shared. Instead, that e-office concept itself is yet to emerge. So whatever you give, at least the main document they could scan and upload, it is not happening. Which is why I am of the view, somewhere down the line, somebody will pull them up. Either in High Court or a tribunal. In these cases, I think matter of facts and documents. Tribunal will do it and subsequently they might bring in changes.
Sorry.
Till that time, it will continue this way.
Nothing can, all of this cannot be uploaded online?
No ma'am, because the maximum size is only 5 MB.
Right. No, but they allow you to keep on adding, even cumulatively only 5.
Yeah, even cumulatively, in my case, it was 2000 page documents totally, which was given in 3 tranches to the officer. Scanning itself is a humongous effort. And some of it is copied, that is the photocopy is taken from the government record. So scanning may not even make sense to them, but it is in Tamil. I am submitting to the central GST officers. So we had to even get a translation copy, certified translation copy. So all this we did, it was only manual that we were able to submit. Okay. The next case in contention, PMS Limited has supplied goods and services to multiple special economic zones. Now we are harping or venturing into one unique transaction in GST which is 0 rated, but which is not, I would say, equivalent to exports. It is 0 rated nonetheless. I am supplying predominantly to SEZ units. They have also supplies other than to this SEZ. They have got normal supplies also. In the month of March 2021, they have raised a total of 85 invoices. Out of these 85 invoices, 60 invoices were to SEZ units. So remaining 25 invoices were to other people charging GST. In these 60 invoices which were raised to SEZ units, 40 were for supply of goods and 20 were for supply of services. The company is in possession of SEZ DTA procurement certificate only for 30 of the goods invoices. It has got manual acknowledgement by the SEZ jurisdictional officer on the 15 service invoices. Though they have raised 20 service invoices on SEZ, only on 15 they have got this manual acknowledgement. Now the officer is demanding GST liability 1 on all the invoices not supported by DTA procurement certificate. I'll paraphrase the problem. I am supplying to SEZ predominantly, and the SEZ units I am not just supplying goods, I am also supplying services. And when I am supplying to them, they are giving me a DTA procurement certificate which is generated online from the SEZ portal, SEZ common portal. But that is not available for all my goods invoices. It is available for some of my goods invoices. And as far as service invoices are concerned, they have not given me such a certificate. They have given an acknowledgement on the face of the invoice. It is not given by my customer. It is given by the SEZ officer. So this is what I have. For those which are not covered by SEZ DTA procurement certificate, the officer says, audit officer says, I need to pay 18% with interest. Or whatever percentage is applicable for those respective goods, he is saying you have to pay with interest. Legally valid, tenable. What is your view? I have supplied to SEZ. I have got all the proof that I have supplied to an SEZ apart from DTA procurement certificate, apart from this acknowledgement. For other cases, I don't have anything. For the cases for which I have acknowledgement, I have got only acknowledgement. I don't have any further proof. Tell me, am I, or is the officer overstepping and saying that I should provide the DTA procurement certificate? What is your view?
Before October 2018 and after?
September 2018, no madam. 13 September 2018 to be very precise, Rule 30 of SEZ rules. That is the whole point of contention here. Rule 30 of SEZ rules states, and okay, we will come by that rule and then I will be able to tell you what is the mistake of the officer also. Rule 30 of SEZ rules is a unique rule wherein it says an SEZ is procuring goods and or services. These or services was not there prior to 13th September 2018. It was inserted only from September 2018 into the SEZ rules. Okay, when an SEZ is procuring goods or services from a person who is in a domestic tariff area, then the SEZ is supposed to give an acknowledgement. That is, obtained from the SEZ officer, they are supposed to give. Within how many days? Within 45 days from the date of invoice. Or within 45 days from the date they inward. So look at the timeline, it is only 45 days. But we are talking about 2019, 20, 18, 19 and all, yet to receive the acknowledgement from the SEZ. This amendment had happened long back. Now I'll tell you the problem. This is one of the trigger points for audit by the GST department. In CGST, they initiate audit going by this. If I report SEZ supply in my GSTR 1, there is a portal in which all the SEZs are supposed to report how much they procure from DTA. In that reporting, if there is not matching, that is what I say as supply to SEZ is not uploaded by the other party in that portal, department considers it to be a blatant effort to bill it to somebody but call them as bill it to SEZ. Now this gives rise to two kinds of problems. One, what is the basis on which department is assuming like this? And second, for all the SEZ units, it is giving another issue. The basis will answer the second question. The basis department is taking is, see, this day and age, anybody's SEZ, anybody's GST number you can find in the Google. You put, go to Google and try and search it. MS Dhoni's PAN, you will not get it. You put MS Dhoni's GST number, you will get it. See the safety net. PAN kadekada, GST number kadekada. Adukapra PAN ke edhu nadeyara. With that only, one guy had created a credit card fraud of 7 crores. So you put MS Dhoni's GST number, you will get it. So what they said, the officer told me in that case was, Shankar, wait, you say that you supply to SEZ. Where is the proof that you supply to SEZ? I told him, see, they have given me payment. That's book record. Why should I trust your book record? Give me a corroborative evidence to understand that you have supplied to an SEZ. I never had a corroborative evidence. And that is why he pressed on Rule 30 and said that you should have obtained an acknowledgement. Now, if he had stopped there, the matter would have ended. Lenovo, Madras High Court judgment, November 2023. Now, in this case, it is pertaining to Pondicherry. What was won in this case is that the refund was rejected. The refund rejection, all this SEZ supply refund. Rejection by the rejection by the officer was challenged by the Madras High Court. The Madras High Court also felt, hold on, Rule 30 is talking about acknowledgement. Agreed. Rule 30 is not talking about a specific type of acknowledgement. SEZ DTA procurement certificate is one type of acknowledgement. Putting a seal on the face of the invoice by the SEZ officer is another type of acknowledgement. But nonetheless, both are acknowledgement. So, when it is not specifically mentioned in Rule 30 as to what is the format in which the acknowledgement should have been obtained, you cannot object to the acknowledgement that is given by them. You have to accept it and give them the refund. I think 4 or 5 refund applications together was bunched and this hearing happened and the order was given in November 2023. Remember, this is the key behind this and this is happening in all the audits. This is one of the standard audit points. Especially CGST, if you are subjected to audit and you are claiming that I am supplying to an SEZ or I had supplied to an SEZ in this period, they come with this data and they just merely look at your books only to find out what has happened. Some of you might know if you had heard me earlier, in one of my client cases, we were surprised till today it is happening. It is hardly 3 years together, it will be 450 crores, hardly 150 crore average company. But 90% is to SEZ. 7 audit officers came. I was like, it's a bureau to 7 audit officers. Then I asked him, sir, we don't even have a meeting room which can accommodate more than 6. They said, no, we have come, we will do. Said, fine, you have come, you will do, come. You and me will sit outside. Me and the main audit officer sat outside. 6 people sat inside. Who will go and give record? Who will give tea? We had funny time that time. 3 years they took up one go in 2021. Everything happened. 6 days later, the audit officer looked at me and said, seems like you guys are genuine. Oh, you are not a Why do you say that now only I seem like genuine? No. That is when he showed me that report and said, as per this report received from DG Gram, SEZ units are not reported to the extent of 140 crores differently. In 3 years, whatever you reported as SEZ supply, these guys are not reported. When they are not reported, I will only presume that you are an assessee who has committed a fraud of 140 crores of supply without paying GST. So we thought we will come. That is why 7 people are. Now he stands as you. He said, correct, you guessed it. No, I never guessed it in the first place. 7 people came because of this only. Then they realized, okay, there is not much thing. But we ended up in trouble because of this point. 3.45 crores worth of transactions, we could not provide them the SEZ DTA procurement certificate or acknowledgements. That is where the matter got stuck, and that 18% we are fighting it in the next level. We have gone for an appeal. Whatever we could manage to get, we have managed to get. Sorry?
You can get the acknowledgement now.
No, I will tell you.
That is like a big problem.
No, that I have done. I will tell you what happened. The assistant commissioner who objected the whole point. So we had about this 3.45 crores. I told the assessee, sir, if not DTA procurement certificate, at least get me acknowledgements. His marketing head, he said, I'll take cash. His vice president. That's all. Next 15 days, I got all the documents, about 2.8 crores out of 3.45. I was elated, went to the assistant commissioner's office, placed it before her, Nandanam, placed it before her and said, Madam, I've got everything. This is for 1718. She looked at it and she started laughing uncontrollably. Then I asked, ma'am, what is it? 1718, I was the SEZ officer. After the documents, I took back and said, Madam, you confirm 3.4. Now I understand what these guys have done in 15 days. Took back the papers and came back and threw it at his face, saying that, sir, enna jail power. So, signing today is a problem. What happens is, today's officer signs, her problem was, he said, see, today if somebody signs, how would he even know it came on that day? It was never there. So, as an ex officio, the person should have signed on that day, or near to that, 45 days. So, signing now, you can get signing anyways, that is what she said. You can get signing anyways, but I will not accept. And this is the reason, do you think it will stand in court of law? Agreed, I brought back. So getting today is much riskier than easily claiming that, sir, you tell me what to do. So for the older periods, remember this provision has to be followed. Any audit or anything happens, SEZ acknowledgement. Remember Lenovo case also. Try and take a cue from that. All you need is one acknowledgement. It can be DTA procurement certificate or it can be sealed one. Yes.
So will it make a difference pertaining to 1718?
For services.
Because the amendment is.
You are right. If it is for services for 1718, it will make a huge difference. Because we can always say SEZ rules does not require. So legally I am not bound. In fact, up until September, till the amendment was passed into SEZ rules, we are fighting on the ground only for services in 1718. That is why I have not put the year here. I am putting it only as month of March 2021. Because I didn't want to go into the disputed period. Since you asked the question, I think we have come into the disputed period also. So 2018 September SEZ rules got amended. The key rule to be kept in mind is Rule 30. And that rule is powerful because it says notwithstanding anything contained in any other law, this tax is collectible from the person if he is not getting a procurement certificate within 45 days. Because if the SEZ is not giving an acknowledgement or nobody owns up that it is applied to an SEZ, the SEZ world is thinking that this is a fraud committed in the name of SEZ. So don't allow the person to claim SEZ related benefit. Ask the person to pay the tax in full with interest.
There is a mistake of SEZ not uploading the data. How they can punish?
Exactly. Now, the SEZ not uploading the data is something like a CFOM, sir. We are the ones who are likely to follow. And imagine our situation. We are following up ITC from our suppliers itself. So it is like calling our supplier and asking every day, you will file GST or 1 day. You will file 3B also, no, on time.
No.
When we are doing it, we should also do it to our customer. Sir, will you file SEZ DTA procurement certificate?
What if the SEZ gives a letter of current date saying, no, if they say, okay, it was a mistake,
that we could not do it at that time. Agreed. As of now, you have only a legal remedy. The words of law does not support you because within 45 days we are supposed to obtain. It is similar to C-form, that is why I am equating to it. C-form, I forgot to give to my jurisdiction. Now, if I give a letter, will it be accepted by the department? No. But in the advanced level of adjudication, maybe sometime where we can prove. But in this case, at least unlike C-form, what I can prove to them is the supply has happened to SEZ, that documentary evidences are there. And their payments to me, with those evidences, I may be able to prevail over in the tribunal, the fact-finding authority.
So there is also an issue, suppose the material is picked up from your works.
Okay.
Right? No, so it's picked up from your works and
supplied to an SEZ. Doesn't matter. Still, the consumer is an SEZ. He is supposed to upload an SEZ DTA procurement certificate. In either of the cases, as long as you put the SEZ as your recipient and claim the benefit of LUT, and that too without payment of IGST, this problem will persist. So you have to get a certificate. And the chip that was given to me is very obvious. We have to go for a tea break. So let's break here for tea and then we will So I'm going to deal with dates in this case because for a specific reason. The DRC 1A was issued under section 73 on 8th August 2023, followed by a show cause notice and DRC 01. Again, to set the context, I want to tell you that DRC 1A, what we discussed at the start, 142 1A and all, it is only a pre-consultative notice. Whereas show cause notice is a notice order. We know these two. The show cause notice has got a subservient summary, which is called as DRC 1. The order has got a similar summary, which is a DRC 07. So what we need to be clear is 7 is not order, 1 is not order, but 1 is annexed to the main show cause notice. Same way 7 is annexed to the order. That's all. So wherever I use SCN, I will also use the word DRC 01. These are not two different things. These are one and the same. Summary is given in DRC 01. And okay, the next point I will confirm after the case. So they had 8th August 2023. They had been given a DRC 1A and the DRC SCN and DRC 01 on 25th of September 2023. And then demand of erroneous ITC was the point in contention, and the tax demand was paid by the taxpayer on 20th of September 2023. So please remember 8th August was my sir, illa sir, idu work padu.
Idu work avula but amba inda idu work avula but sir work ninga ali use pannunga ada work avula.
So 8th August
adu kuda ramani sir வாங்க
Thank you. GST technical glitch. You have to have. illa nada ena prachana nadakkum. Marako first nadakkum. So the show cause notice was issued on 25th of September. What I have done is I have paid the tax on 20th of September. What is the demand? The demand is not an output liability. The demand is with respect to erroneous input tax credit availed. I have paid that erroneous input tax credit by way of discharging my liability on 20th September. 20th September I want to convey here is before issue of show cause notice. That is the point that I want to convey. Now the officer has issued a final order with a summary in DRC 07 telling that you will have to pay a penalty equal to 10% of the tax demand. Now the assessee is agitated stating that, see, even before show cause notice I have paid the tax. Why should I pay penalty? Is the officer's action correct or is the grievance of the assessee correct? Grievance of the assessee seems to be correct, no? Unfortunately, no. Section 73(9) states that you should have paid the tax and interest. The tax and interest should have been paid before 30 days up from the date of show cause notice. What generally people tend to do is we pay the tax and think that okay, that responsibility is over, there is no penalty that is coming my way. No, it is tax and interest. That is what should have been paid. I never did that. So what in this case it never happened. What I did here is I paid the tax well before show cause notice and I want to tell the officer don't levy me penalty, he will levy penalty. And in one case you will feel doing this. What happened? 4,000 rupees was the excess interest which we did not pay. Now we ended up paying penalty of 20,000 because the minimum penalty under 73 is 10,000 plus 10,000. But the interest that we forgot to pay was only 4,000. Hence the case. So remember, this is 73. The penalty under 73 will come. Nobody can waive this penalty. The officer will levy this penalty, and in some cases even the officer doesn't take any effort. The system normally does this because unless and until the tax and interest is paid, you will not be able to get this.
Some difference in interest, not paid, whether it will be construed as a...
Correct. Because the provision says it is tax and the interest due should have been paid. So now that there is a shortfall, maybe, for example, there are 4 cases or 4 issues. Out of which 3 issues you have paid. 4th issue only pending. The officer can take a lenient view and say, to the extent of this 4th issue's tax, you have not paid this interest. So for the 4th issue's tax demand, how much is there? On that 10% only I levy as penalty. Now that is the rapport between us and the officer. If the officer really wants to press it hard on you, he will simply say, you never did what was mentioned in the section. So I am going to levy the 10% penalty on you. So by paying the tax upfront, thinking that okay, I will be relieved of my problems is not so. Penalty can still become applicable.
So is there a situation like we discussed that they issue everything together on one day?
Yes.
So
that is where the principles of natural justice is being taken away. That is why we go to the court and get it back. No relief at the lower jurisdictional level, adjudicating authority. You have to get it from the higher legal forum only. But it can happen. Yes.
Sir, with regards to this, I slightly have a difference of opinion. When we read 73(9), it says that the officer has to determine tax, interest, and a penalty equivalent to 10% of the tax. So only if the officer is determining any tax, then on that 10% is the penalty. In this particular case, once again, in this particular case, let us suppose the tax is already been paid. Therefore, the tax determined will be 0. There will be interest, I do agree. But 10% of the tax is again 10% of 0 should be 0. So because the determination of tax is not happening under 73(9).
Correct.
Yes, please sir.
Now, the penalty relieving clauses are not 73(9), it is 73(8) and 73(6). You need to go from there. Now, the second part is when the officer is assessing the tax, the mistake that some of the officers are committing is, for example, you are liable for 2 lakhs of tax. You pay the 2 lakhs. They should not pass an order for 0. What they should do is, I am assessing you for 2 lakhs and the 2 lakhs that you paid is appropriated against that.
That center is doing it.
Sorry?
Center jurisdiction is doing it.
They do it because that is what is right. Because when I say that I have done the assessment, have I done the assessment for 0? No, I have done the assessment for 2 lakhs. But you didn't pay it in the self-assessed return. Correct? That is why I am coming it to or bringing it to a stage where it is reflected in my order as a demand. In that, if you have paid the tax through DRC 03 or whichever way in which I collected, that I will appropriate against this. So, my demand of 2 lakhs stays. Your payment, it matches 2 lakhs fine, but interest is still falling short. So, I will go for this.
So, if that is the case, when the tax has been determined and then an interest is charged, appropriation is separate, then a penalty will come. But in case of a state wherein tax is already paid before the date of order, then the demand is 0.
It is still, see, what is 73? Not 59. It is not self-assessment. The officer is initiating something. When he initiates, he wants to determine.
So let us suppose if he initiates a notice for 1 crore, 1 crore, order is passed only for 5 lakhs. Then the 10% is on 5 lakhs or 1 crore?
The demand that is created by the order.
So which is 5 lakhs?
Correct.
So in this particular case, when the tax is already paid, the demand created by order is 0, sir.
No, you are coming to a different way. I will tell you, 5 lakhs is confirmed as a demand. That 5 lakhs you might have paid also. There are 2 parts to it. What you are saying is, sir, 1 crore is assessed, 95 I paid, 5 lakhs is only demand. No, I am saying, if I confirm only 5 lakhs as tax, I should put 5 lakhs there. You pay, then I will say I will appropriate. I should not say, I decided on 1 crore, this fellow paid 95, so I will confirm only 5 lakhs as demand. No, recovery is for 5 lakhs.
Correct, sir. But DRC 07, which is issued online, that is issued only for 5 lakhs.
That should not, that is what I am coming to. That DRC 07 is a summary of demand raised in the order. But in the order, the original demand is this much. And that is why what happens is, when you, ideally, currently the court doesn't happen, you want to pay against a DRC 07, you should be allowed to pay partially. Because I may accept some of it, I may not accept some of it. But now it doesn't allow. What happens is, you pay 10% of it in the pre-deposit when you go for appeal. You have to pay on the whole amount. There is no such amount called as accepted demand and paid. And a disputed demand and 10% of it I cannot pay. Hence, this is a lacuna in the portal, which I am leaving it aside. From the law perspective, unless the tax determined and the interest is paid well before, that is the 30 days of show cause notice, the penalty cannot be escaped. And how the tax needs to be determined is this. Dropping of a show cause notice or dropping of a demand is not something which is envisaged in law, is what I feel. This is a hangover from the S2L patent.
What type of show cause notice?
I have done no dropping of show cause notice. Since you paid is wrong. If I given a show cause notice, then I need to assess. I say, yeah, you have paid. I acknowledge your payment. Now I want to go to the next step. And then let us assume you have paid the tax. I drop the show cause notice. The officer is in fault. He has not collected interest. Correct? Then the officer should have continued with the order and passed the order with the interest, and then only he should have concluded the proceedings. There might be a vigilance case against him.
So let us suppose the assessee has paid tax also and interest also, then the dropping can happen.
Exactly. That is what 73.5 and 73.6 are telling you. So based on that,
even after 30 days.
Even after 30. No, even after 30. See, moment I convert it into a show cause, I take it into an order. What I will say is the penalty that I raised as a demand or penalty proposed by me in DRC 1A or 1, I am dropping because you paid it within the due date. Still, what I need to do, I need to assess you. I need to pass the order. And then only I will be able to close this matter. If I don't do it, that is where the officer's credibility will be in question in future. Which is why in central, as you said, right from service tax regime, whatever they assess, they bring everything to picture and say, so much you have paid against this. Why can't I appropriate? Why can't I appropriate? Why will they mention that is, what you paid is only after initiation of proceedings by me. You never paid it on your own. So they will claim that so much is collected by me. And that is rightfully, because unless this action had taken place, there was no reason for you to make the payment of this tax. Hence, 73.9, we need to be a little careful. Tax and consequent interest also should be paid. Now, when we see one that,
if the assessee has already paid the tax in DRC 03, but that is not known to the officer, so he says you have to pay through show cause notice, and the show cause notice response you are telling that you have already paid to DRC 01. And he says, okay, I am appropriating that, but you pay interest and penalty. How can he demand penalty?
If interest is due, he can.
But where is
for interest, let us go through the procedure. What you asked is, I have already paid through DRC.
Correct.
He is initiating a 1A.
Correct.
Now 1A to 1 conversion is where it is very critical. That is another point that I want to convey. In 74 I wanted to do, now that you have asked. So 1A to 1, before it gets confirmed, you go and identify and tell him, sir, your 1A is wrong. Because I have already paid this demand. Now the next question he will ask is, have you paid interest?
I am not paid.
You are not paid. Then he has to continue to 1. And in that 1 he will mention, this demand I raised in DRC 1A, which is demand, but it seems that you have paid it in DRC 03, which I am offsetting against this tax. But the interest amount I am calculating so much.
Correct, sir. You can demand me interest.
Yeah.
You will be able
No,
to
I'll tell you. I'll demand interest. I'll also put penalty of 10%. Now what I will do is, I will put that penalty of 10% and wait. Within 30 days you are supposed to give me an answer. Within 30 days you end up paying the interest also from the rate of show cause notice.
Okay.
Now when I am passing an order, I will exercise my powers under 73.9 and say, having paid the tax and interest within 30 days of show cause notice, the penalty that I proposed in show cause, I am dropping.
Suppose I have not paid interest, I am going to contest the interest portion.
Still, I will have to pass an order with 10% penalty only.
There's no tax portion, sir. Tax is
No, what you are thinking is arithmetically, there is no tax. But tell me, in that assessment order, there is tax or not?
Sir, I have one order.
Tax due.
Sir,
then he is appropriating.
Correct. That is the tax due. The tax due has been paid through DRC 03.
Correct.
Now,
But
DRC
that
03.
was not paid after you initiated me.
I am coming to that. That DRC 03 has to be accepted by way of a DRC 04.
Correct.
Correct? That acknowledgement I have not given so far.
Correct, sir.
Which means I am offsetting it against this due only now. So whatever you have paid so far is only a presumptive amount. It is still not known to me that why you have paid it. Hence I will say it is not paid.
Sir.
And now I am appropriating. When I am appropriating now, interest demand is there. Obviously penalty will also follow.
Yes, this contention of I have order only with interest.
I know.
Not with
Many cases they have dropped a demand, demand of penalty. No, hold on. In 2 years you will receive C and AG.
I don't think so, sir.
No, we'll see.
Because this is much before initiation of show cause notice.
Agreed.
And I think so in this particular case, you can also challenge show cause notice.
No, there are two things.
Yes.
Yeah, there are two things here. One is the show cause notice. Whether the timeline will remain at that time is one problem. And secondly, nothing was initiated. Considering your representation, if the officer has not taken it to show cause notice level itself, that itself is being scrutinized now. Even that is wrong because he is supposed to take through the matter fully because he has initiated something to identify. And when he has initiated, then only you have come and responded to him saying, I have paid through DRC 03. Or that is when he comes to know. Ideally, every DRC 03 must be acknowledged by a DRC 04, which is before initiation of any proceedings. If after initiation of show cause notice, old DRC 03 is communicated, DRC 05 should be given. This is what the Rule 42 talks about. So, first DRC 03 you will pay voluntarily, you will intimate to them. Even before initiation means he can acknowledge it through DRC 04. But he has initiated something means he has to acknowledge it through DRC 05. separate procedure is prescribed. So he has to go through that. Which is why I am of the view, interest and tax must be paid.
But the general principles on penalty, sir,
Yeah.
that specifically says if there is something, there is no intention to evade tax, something is there, they cannot give me penalty. In this case, I have already paid even before you initiate.
Yes.
So where is the question?
No, we are talking only on one point. Did you pay interest?
Pay interest.
That is the whole point I am harping on. See, when you paid voluntarily.
tax and interest. has to be
Exactly. Voluntarily you paid tax and interest, sir. I don't have a problem. I will agree with you and say no penalty. You paid only tax, you never paid interest. And if the officer is not pursuing the order for claim of interest, he is at fault. Now the next scenario.
Sir is having many department friends.
No, I am standing in between. That is the problem. When I go there, they say you come and represent the assessee, you reduce the tax. And I stand here, you come and say. At the end of the day, all we are trying to do is everybody knows how to drive, because it is not that I know only driving. The opposite person does not know. He will mow me down. So to avoid that, what I should do? I should teach him how to drive. I should also know how to drive.
Balanced.
Both the sides it should be there. So for the month of June 20, MB Limited has filed a GSTR 1 disclosing a tax liability of 2.5 lakhs. But in GSTR 3B, they have disclosed only rupees 2 lakhs and paid the tax. So this is a clear case of GSTR 1 versus 3B. Now, notice under section 73 was issued demanding differential tax, interest and penalty within 30 days of the show cause notice. Tax and interest were paid. Taxpayer is seeking waiver of penalty. I have purposefully put this before 1st January 2022. The reason is 75 subsection 12 was amended from 1st January 2022. Hence I have put it before. What is 75 subsection 12? I will quickly give you a view. If 1 versus 3B there is a difference, the department need not adjudicate through an order. They can directly initiate recovery under section 79 because it is a self-assessed tax. I will repeat, 1 versus 3B if there is a difference, department need not adjudicate by issuing a show cause order, nothing is required. It is deemed to be a self-assessed tax, no need for any procedure by the department, they can directly come for recovery. To stop this, I would say not to stop this, not a block, but a speed breaker was created. That speed breaker is DRC 1B, which is now in the portal. Earlier it was not there. DRC 1B's birth is because of 75 subsection 12 only, where I am not supposed to show a lesser amount in 3B, where a higher amount in GSTR 1. Okay. Be that as it may, let's travel back to 2021. In 2021, what has happened is your output tax liability 2.5 lakhs. You have accepted in GSTR 1, you paid only 2 lakhs. But the department is now saying pay the tax and interest and penalty through a notice. You have paid the tax and interest and you are seeking waiver of penalty. You have paid the tax and interest well before the 30 days from show cause notice. Are you entitled for a waiver of penalty? From whatever we discussed so far, something I told you, I was waiting for this. Now tell me, am I entitled for waiver of penalty? I have paid the tax, I have paid the interest. There is a provision called 7311, which says, if the tax is collected and not paid beyond 1 month, that is the due date, then whenever you pay, still you will not get the 10% waiver. So in this case, even if you end up paying the tax and interest before the 30 days from show cause notice, still you will end up paying penalty. Now this is for people who have collected the tax, who have not remitted it to the department 30 days from the due date. Now obviously this is more than that. You are liable to pay penalty. You cannot even seek a single stand of 10% waiver because 7311 will override 73(9). In some of the cases I have seen officers not levying penalty without even considering 7311. Now these orders will be scrutinized in future. Hence, officer says, I will drop penalty. No. You will have to evaluate from 7311's perspective also whether it is droppable. Then you discuss your terms with the
bank officer, sir. At least he has not initiated 74. Bank officer.
See, we have come to an extent where we think that always we are subject to 74. Because then that is easier. I don't have to argue the case. I just have to argue the reason for 74.
Sometimes tax amount is so small. For example, tax amount is 100 rupees. On that also 10,000 penalty is levied.
Correct. So they want.
So we want that should be taken into 74. So 100% is 100 to 100. That's it.
True. So 7311 is another provision to be kept in mind, which is why the penalties are. Why am I getting penalty? For that only this case I have discussed. Why are you getting penalty? Scenario 1 I have told you. Why am I getting penalty even if I have paid the tax and interest, Shankar? Is it possible? Possible. Yes. That is also there. Now we will complicate the scenario.
So in the same example,
Yes, ma'am.
how the rules are coming other way. ASTR what you have say 10 lakhs.
Okay.
And you have
More in 3
lakhs in ASTR 3. And then you ASTR 9 they are filing to 20 lakhs because it's application they have a lot of issues.
Yes,
and
yes.
They reconcile and wait. Department is sending a notice. Why there is a variance between 1 and 3B and 3B business. And the difference between 1 and 9 they are taking it under the executive grant. You can understand what reason they have. They have any sort of internal circular for this. Even if there is a time is paid.
Simple. Two things have happened. For central, there is a data from DG Gram. For state, they have purchased a software from Hyderabad. Okay, that is the reason. These are the two reasons why we are getting similar matter being agitated again, similar matter rising up again. Yesterday I had a lengthy discussion during lunchtime. He was also down on sugar, I was also down with my sugar levels, but the officer, me and me, we were discussing. So he said, Shankar, I accept your point that you never availed more, but how do I write to DG Gram saying that I believe in Shankar? So what you do, you match it. And I told him, sir, 9 is final, no, as per section 44. You are supposed to take 9. No, I want what are all the invoices that has taken into 9, but that were not considered for GSTR 1, and some of it was not considered for 3B also. It is like going to an excursion, no? When you go, it will be happy. Next day they will say, write in 200 words, not exceeding 200 words about yesterday's excursion. We are in the similar scenario. They have told us that you file 9, I will relieve you. Now I am not relieved. I am being forced to write about difference between 1 and 9. All along I was thinking 1 3B fine, skip it. 9 is filed properly, I am okay. Now they are saying no, give me the difference between 1 versus 3B, 1 versus 9. I can do any combination, whichever is higher I will charge you GST. Get ready. Because of two softwares. These two softwares are giving notices and officers are inclined to do this because they don't want to drop notices without getting proper response from the taxpayer. And that proper response, if it is legal, some officers take offense to that. If I legally tell them, that is what the officer warned me yesterday. Very politely he warned me. I am not even going into a reply. Because if your reply is going to be legally packed, my order is known to you. What I want is, I want some help from you in finding out what is the difference. I have written 4 pages of legal reply. Then I realized, completely waste. All he needs is an Excel. I need to prove that what is my difference, what is his difference, what is the difference between this and this, why it was wrongly reported. We need to identify and give. Maybe that is the language he wants to understand, you get the case dropped. Because at the end of the day, it is an year which is already dead. Audit is over, but still this notice is coming. Still I have to put up with this and close this. Hence, remember, the 1 versus 3B difference, DRC 1, B is the one which is ruling the rules now. So coming to
1718, sir.
Yeah.
Initial period they were starting filing returns. There were a lot of errors that they committed in GSTR 1 and 3.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, when we filed GSTR 9, we didn't go into the problems that they had in GSTR 1 and 3. What we did, we took the financial statements, matched with GSTR 9, wherever the difference we paid it. Now if you are asking me what is the difference between 1 and 3B for 17, 18, even that time we didn't find out. We just matched the financial statements and did.
Similar situation, sir. That is why I quoted excursion as a thing. Going is easy, but writing about excursion is tough. That is what we did in 1920, 17, 18. Now, if I legally have to defend, that is where I am just waiting for somebody to come this point as a case, take them to High Court. Because there what can happen is I can prove to the court that 1 was not before 3B those days. Till September 2018, in Tamil we used to say, Maadu munadiya, Vandi munadiya theriyadu. The bull has to be in front, cart has to be at the rear. Now, at that time we were filing 3B first and we were catching up on 3B by filing GSTR 1. And GSTR 1 did not have something called amendment up until January 2019. So there are various things which could have led to this, but system is throwing, so I am asking. Does the officer have a right? No, he has the right to be the officer. So all that we need to do, give a reply in such a way that he is able to understand what we say. It might be completely against common sense. Who wants common sense in law?
You want drop of order.
Exactly, I want drop of order. I want him to also agree to my point and write that, the assessee has given the enough data, required data. Based on that, this is dropped. That is what I want.
What is the CA Institute's role in this? My point is...
Train us to do reconciliation. Understood. The reason is, இங்க நின்னு சொல்றது எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் துக்கமா இருக்கு. இதுல எந்த ரூலுமே நமக்கு இல்ல அதுல.
துக்கம் இல்லன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். நிறைய வேலை.
வேலை நிறைய இருக்கு. பில் பண்ண முடிஞ்சா வேலை சந்தோஷமா பண்ணலாம். அத நாம ஃபிகர் அவுட் பண்ணிக்கணும். ultimately, that is what is happening. See, they are not ready to even, because unlike income tax, tax audit report, they wanted to get away from that. That is why the 9C audit is also thrashed. So, 1718 ideally, 9C or certify pannitaanga. Why are you even asking question about it? We can ask. But the moment you ask this, they say, sir, I will give an order, you go and fight. Now the client will say, I will pay it in order. At least the pre-deposit would have been only 10 lakhs is what he will say. So somewhere, somehow, we have to help the assessee, we have to at the same time not rub the officer on the wrong side. Various things we need to manage. Hence, I am of the view, institute as an institution does not have any say there. Because we have been relieved from all the responsibilities of GST. If you really do that.
Indirect tax is a big part of the syllabus here.
Yes.
How can we say?
Not just syllabus, as you said, as part of practice also.
Yeah.
When we do practice, that is the biggest time taker for us. Having said that, now can institute do something? They will have to make inroads politically. I don't think that is possible at this juncture. At this juncture, the law is now.
Council,
we can give representations through indirect tax committee, of which I am a little part. We give representations, we give recommendations. Some get implemented. For instance, 9 and 9C integration. Way back in 2020, we have given a proposal. I was part of the team which prepared the integrated 9 and 9C. It to be implemented. You know, 9 and 9C. They have abolished 2A. Now 2A has become. Last year we were all reconciling with 8A. Now why we were doing it? We don't know. Now this year will we be still doing it with the 8A? I don't know. But in 2020 itself we have given a proposal how to do line by line. We even presented to the from people from CBIs.
Sorry, 2A is abolished.
2A is done to death.
You still have to reconcile your notices.
With 2B. 2A you are reconciling, madam, because it is for 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20. From 1st January 2022 onwards, Section 38 has been put in place and said, hereafter, the return under Section 38 is 2B.
But your annual returns have this section.
That was because 22-23 is what we were doing. Yeah? But ideally 22-23, there was no 2A. They should have come to 2B. They never did that. We had filed based on that. Now 23-24 also we should wait and see whether they will give any weightage to 2B. Ideally that is what should have been given a weightage, which is not done, which he didn't even agitate because there was no responsibility on the chartered accountant to sign. Assessee will say it's self-certified. If assessee wants to raise, through trade forum you raise. Through trade forum who will raise? That is the hard truth. Let's get into 74, the next part of my discussion, which is DRC 1A was issued on 15th August 2022. Just to remember, I have given the important date. Republic Day. Independence Day. Okay. 15th August 2022. The tax along with interest was paid on 1st August 2022, even before the show cause notice was issued. Even before initiation of my proceedings, DRC 1A. So what I am doing is, the taxpayer is saying, sir, I have paid the tax along with interest. Now leave me the burden of paying penalty. I paid the tax and interest well before you even came to me. Now leave me away from penalty. Can I ask?
No. For which financial year?
Okay, let us assume this is for 1780. For 1780, there is a DRC 1A initiated against me on 15th August. But somehow I found my problem and I paid it in well before the DRC 1A initiation. Am I entitled for waiver of penalty?
You should seek for order passed under 73.
So first thing, can I ask waiver of penalty? So I want to hark there. Yes, you can always ask them to take the matter under 73. Agreed. But can I ask for waiver of penalty? No. Because the point that I want to convey here is 74. A notice is initiated. Not even notice, rather. A proceedings is initiated. That minute you are liable for 15% of the tax as penalty. Forget about show cause notice, forget about order. It is initiated, sir. I come and disclose everything and I pay the tax right from my pocket, everything. Fine. Still 15% penalty is undisputable. That is why he was saying, let us try to take the case under 73. Because you need to tell the officer that, sir, don't initiate 74. This is not a fit case for 74. Which is why I said when somebody remarked, sir, when the case is taken under 74, it is relatively easy. Yes, I also feel it is relatively easy, not in the adjudication forum, but in the appellate forum. Because if it is taken under 74, all I need to prove is not each and every objection raised by them. Only thing that I will ask in the next level forum is it a case fit for 74? Have they proved intention to evade tax, culpable state of mind, fraud, collusion? Have they proved it? No, that is not proved anywhere. The order is not under 74. Now, the moment it is not under 74, don't worry, meaning don't feel happy that it will go away. It will be deemed to be an order under 73. So, the only catch here is the time limit will go down. And that is why, if you have noticed, this December and this April, even 74 cases for 17, 18, 18, 19, department is trying to pass the orders. Is because they know very well, tomorrow we will break down 74 by saying that it is not 74. Then they should not end up in a scenario where 74 order is passed after 73 is time limit. Then the order itself will be liable to be set aside. Ideally 17, 18 the order should have been passed before 31st of December 2023 under 73. But 74 means I have time until 31st of January 2025 next year. But I am pushing to pass the order for 17, 18 before 31st of December 2023 is because tomorrow by chance the fellow goes to the court and says it is not a case for 74, it is a case for 73, then what will happen? Had they passed an order after 31st of December 2023, gone. The whole order will be invalid. Hence, they want to push it. Which is why you will have additional pressure from the department for passing 74 orders also in these due dates. The due dates that we discussed at the start. Okay. Coming back to our case. Penalty 15%. 7 is the first point. Now, I am just taking it little in a different way. That is, if tax and interest is paid on 16th August 2022, is there a possibility of a waiver? Because the show cause notice, DRC 1A was initiated on 15th August. After initiation, I am paying. Now, can I request them for waiver of penalty? No, neither before nor after. 15% penalty stays. Then, the show cause notice was issued on 2nd October, another date to remember. Okay, 2nd October 2022, show cause notice is issued. Now, what am I doing? Tax along with interest is paid on 2nd of October 2022. Along with interest, I have paid. Can I seek a reduction of penalty?
No.
Can I seek waiver of penalty is different? Can I seek reduction of penalty? Are you able to get my point? Can I seek waiver? Not possible at all. Can I seek reduction? No, the 15% stays. Wait, but ideally the penalty under section 74 is 100 or read with 122 is 100% penalty. All you can do by paying within 30 days of show cause notice, you can reduce your penalty to 25%. But remember, you should have paid the agreed tax, interest and 25% penalty also. Within 30 days of show cause notice. People say that, sir, I have paid tax and interest, give me penalty waiver. No, you should have paid the tax, you should have paid the interest, you should have paid the 25% penalty also, and then only you can say, don't levy 100% penalty, leave me with 25% penalty. So this is where I am trying to convey a point where we need to be educating the clients, sir, please look at the portal on a daily basis. If not on a daily basis, at least on 2 days once. One of the chartered accountants remarked, it will become that way. So you don't want it to be smelly, you have to take care of it. Hence, you go to the portal every day. You go to the portal every day, check. Or tell the client, you are not going to check because somehow what has happened, the phone numbers, the email IDs, they are all belonging to people who were there in the organization and nobody gets to know what is the notice that they are getting, and anyway for their side, the department is barraging them with SMSs. Yesterday I was looking at, because some of the cases, our own office, 2 branches, 3 branches, my number is given. Sunday evening I am getting a message saying that you are not filed GST or preview. If you have already filed, ignore. Credit card payment, you are not filed. You have already filed, ignore. But one comes, other comes. Then I will be like, so the same thing might happen to the assessee also if he has given the same number. So the assessee wants to get out of it. He relieves himself and says, no, I will not do it. No, he has to check on a daily basis. Or at least in a weekly basis. In our office, we have put a timekeeper kind of person. For that person, the only job is on a weekly basis, he has to check all the assessees, cyclical count of inventory. So cyclical count of show cause notice. So he needs to update. We have got softwares to take care of it. One click it will do simply. It will cost you, but at least it will be able to manage. It will tell you what are the show cause notices that have come or what all the things have been initiated. Why? Because DRC 1A to DRC 1, if the 74 proceedings travel, 10% penalty increases. Because if you can quell the matter at DRC 1A itself or prior to DRC 1A, you will be able to come out at 15% penalty. If you are not able to do it, it gets converted into a show cause notice. Whatever you do, 25% is settled. No, I don't pay within 30 days of show cause notice also. Then what happens? You have one more window of opportunity, which is 30 days from the date of order. If you pay the tax, interest and the 50% penalty also, then the 50% penalty is waiver, 50% only you need to pay. Now you forget the matter, even after 30 days of order, that is when 100% penalty is on your head. Hence, as consultants or as people who advise them, you can tell them that DRC 1A is a trigger event. You get ASMT 10 trigger event, you get DRC 1A trigger event. You have to immediately intimate to me. Immediate is immediate. And that way you should also be checking on a weekly basis. If possible, Monday and Friday, something like that. Assessee can be asked to check and keep us posted. Based on that, this can be taken forward. The only challenge will be still central ASMT 10s. That is CGST ASMT 10s, CGST DRC 1As are only coming by way of manual. They are only uploading the finalized DRC 1 or finalized DRC 7 in the portal. But they have been told by the instruction to upload. They are not doing. Now they are doing only for 7. So eventually I believe they will come to But as it stands today, postal checking is also becoming mandatory. Client was absolutely denying, saying we never received this order from central department. The central department officer was very studious. When we went there and shouted and all, he said, give me the cover. We gave the cover. Luckily, it was not within, not beyond 3 months. Within 3 months, we took that speed post number. He put whatever was there. It was received by this person. He even showed on this time, this date. Then they immediately went back, and one fellow said, "Yeah, I received. It is very much here." Yeah. Yes. Correct. 100% that questioning is there, but in which forum? Will we be able to do it in the department office? No. We will be able to do it only in a court of law. That is where I am thinking that everything is now ending up in High Court. Because the moment you don't answer to this, there will be a crore of demand that is on your head. You want to avoid these crores, better to approach this officer so that you can put some sense into the whole matter and try to bring things down. If that is going beyond your control here, then the only opportunity available is court. So it is as if every problem in school, we are asked to meet the principal. The principal says, why are you troubling me? There is a headmaster, there is a class teacher. You finish all this, no, there is no respite or relief from them. I am directly coming to you because the problem is bigger. Which is what the courts are also feeling. Yes, you can legally come out of it, but it takes longer period of time. It takes a lot of convincing the client. The client will say, you could have done, yeah, all that I could have done. I can log into you and check. I will do business on behalf of you. And my audit fee bill will be pending for next year also. So you will have to eventually come to a conclusion with the client that these matters legally I can fight. But you have to give me space for legally fighting resources. In some of the cases I came to understand. Being a consultant on one end, I can say I am right and this is what I want. But some of the cases, client was worried that, Shankar, you are confident of winning, but why should I let you do it? Why can't we close it in some way? Then I said, then what is the purpose of hiring me? He said, no, it is not about your ego. Please understand, I want to continue doing business. A 250 crore show cause notice does not allow me to sleep in the night. Yes. So that is where I also got the other side perspective. Because so far I was thinking I am right and I will go in this direction. Then I realized I will offer it as a proposal. I can do this. Or you can take this course of action. Leave it to you. My job is to give you the proposal. Present you with what are the possible outcomes. Then you decide your outcome. I think that is where the maturity as a professional had come into me, where I realized not every problem needs to be fought and won. There can be two kinds of fight. Fighting to win, fighting not to lose. The fighting not to lose is a better status quo fight that we can do. And especially in cases where we don't have a ground at all to stand. Okay. The next part of my discussion is quickly. It's like a rapid fire. Scenarios where interest, 50 subsection 1. Okay. In GST, to set the context, output liability related interest is under 50 subsection 1. ITC related interest is segregated to 50 subsection 3. This clarity has come by way of two retrospective amendments. 2021 one retrospective amendment, 2022 another retrospective amendment effective from 1st July 2017 itself. So 50 subsection 1 will not step into ITC, 50 subsection 3 will not step into output liability. Okay. Now that the domains are clear, 50 subsection 1 I have got some questions because these are probable possible scenarios happening in day in and day out adjudication orders. 1. An invoice is dated 25th December 2022. It is reported in the December 2020. So the same month return it is reported. But the return was filed belatedly. The third fact is that the whole tax, that is, the belated return was filed, there was a delay in filing the return. The complete tax liability on the return was paid utilizing only input tax credit. Key question, am I liable to pay interest?
Yes.
No.
That is what I want. I want both the house to be divided. So yes is also there, no is also there. That is what I want. That is the whole problem. So the answer, resounding answer to this is no. That is what is the retrospective amendment to 50 subsection 1 proviso. The proviso to 50 subsection 1 says that month tax liability or that period tax liability disclosed in that period's return filed belatedly, only on the cash portion you need to pay interest. I have used completely only ITC to pay the tax. Why should I pay interest? I don't have to pay interest. So this is one. Now wait, it will not stop there. No, this is vanilla. Now we will make it strawberry and then take it to chocolate next level. So the next one is invoice is dated 25th of December 2022. It is reported in the January 2023 return. This invoice is dated December 22, not reported in December 22 return. It is reported in January 23 return. The return of January was filed on time. January return due date is 28th of February. It was filed on time. Question: am I liable to pay interest? Yes. I am utilizing fully only input tax credit to pay the tax. Am I liable to pay interest? Yes. I never filed return belatedly. No. T subsection 1 proviso which says that month liability declared in that month return. Now, that is what you have missed. So many a times we do this mistake. Interest liability quantification, we see whether the assessee has filed all the returns within the due date. If it is within the due date, we say there is no delay in filing, hence there is no interest. Not necessary. December return he could have filed within due date. January return he could have filed within due date. But in January return only he discloses December month's invoice. Interest is applicable or not? If ITC is available, interest waiver is given. That is 50 subsection 1 proviso says ITC is available or it is utilized for making payment. You should have utilized only ITC for making payment. Mere ITC availability does not mean it is like a money in the bank. You should only utilize it. Fine, sir, anyway I have that ITC. No, the proviso says very clearly, only when that month liability, that is that tax period liability is reported in that tax period and it is paid by using ITC, you have got a waiver. Merely by carrying forward ITC, or I got a huge accumulation of ITC, but I can do belated filing, I can do this month invoice reported in subsequent periods. No, it does not happen. Hence, interest liability, in this case, we need to be aware that when we are submitting even for tax audit, there is no delay in filing, but interest liability can arise. Depends upon which month liability is reported in which month. But generally it is being understood as long as you have ITC and you pay tax through ITC, there is no need to pay interest, not so. The next part.
Good thing is like department is still thinking that if you are paying the
no, it is bad, sir. It will come as a liability anytime because for interest there is no period of limitation. Interest, there is no period of limitation. Even the President of India does not have power to waive interest unless it is done by an act. Hence, any time they can ask for interest.
What if you have a cash ledger balance?
Even if you maintain the balance in cash, but that doesn't matter. That will not be treated as this tax paid because that is still not allocated. No.
But the reason is a decision.
Asian Motors. No, I'll come to Asian Motors. That is for a different reason. No, sir. India Yamaha Motors passed by Madras High Court. Anita Sunil. Krishna Ramaswamy says no, it will come to Asian Motors. Different matter, different scenario, different facts altogether. And Asian Motors is not directly applicable for everybody. That is a risk. Many of the people who forward that, or many of the companies who create their website demand, they just send it saying cash ledger means it is considered to be paid. No, there was a specific scenario in which they allowed it, which is called as impossibility of performance. So you need to go through DRC, the judgment of Asian Motors to even conclude cash ledger balance, will it be tantamounting to tax payment. So I am leaving it for the moment. So coming back here, 25th of December 2022. The invoice dated was not reported in any return. Scenario 3. I have never reported anywhere. The tax was paid using DRC 03 and the tax was paid using only input tax credit. Yes. Am I liable for interest?
Yes.
I am liable for interest. Sir, I have got crores of ITC. This is only lakhs. Does not matter. You did not show it in the return for the period in which it should have been reported. Hence, even if you utilize ITC and pay, you are liable to pay interest. 50 subsection 1. 3 different possibilities and scenarios. Now I will complicate matters. Take it to 50 subsection 3. Okay. What did I do? Yeah. Input tax credit of CGST and SGST.
With 51, don't you think that this amendment should be brought in wherein the cash measure of credit balance if available?
Should have been done long back, but I told you, the government feels that that amount which is paid there, for example, IGST, I'll take a minute here. If you are able to grasp, fine, let's leave it. This is not important. Section 17 and 18 of IGST says how the revenue should be distributed. And there it is mentioned, IGST revenue will be distributed only when ITC is not eligible for the other person or only when it is utilized for payment of SGST. Now in this case, IGST cash balance remains in IGST cash. That cannot be considered to be paid in the place of supply. So when there is no place of supply, in that state, unless they utilize, the revenue cannot go. In other words, the money is there in escrow, unable to be used by central government also, or the government who is keeping it in escrow, neither allocated to the state governments. So in effect, they are saying, as per Article 265, it is not a tax paid at all.
It's government's problem.
Government problem, can we seek solution? No, they themselves will come with a solution broader later. Maybe this Asian motor case kind of things will propel the thought process in that range. If it happens, then we will see.
Even the Asian motors, they were telling that in the RTA, they asked for the revenue collections that they are declaring on every.
They are taking only the cash ratio. Sir, on the comedy la baatache. Even yesterday, day before yesterday, some officers called me and said, "Sir, paying SGST." Sir, yedhile katta in the cash ledger like balance vechitha ungalku enna sandham. It is like playing trade monopoly. Having lot of money in monopoly does not mean you have money.
So don't pay excess.
Absolutely. And if you really want to keep the officer in good spirits, maybe then. And anyway, I will not discuss about that. Let's go to 50 subsection 3. 50 subsection 3, I have got simple scenario. Input tax credit of CGST and SGST was wrongly availed in the month of July 2021. It was identified during audit by the department. So July 21, I wrongly availed input tax credit under the head CGST and SGST. Now the wrongly availed ITC was paid, once identified by the officer, I paid it by reversal of input tax credit that has been accumulated. Now what has happened is the ITC balance in the electronic credit ledger under SGST was always higher than the wrongly availed ITC. For example, wrongly availed ITC is 10 lakhs, CGST 5, SGST 5. But my SGST balance never went below 10. SGST balance was always more than 10 lakhs. So cumulatively, if you see, my ITC balance carry forward is always more than the wrongly availed ITC balance. In this case, taxpayer contends that they are not liable to pay any interest. I will reverse only wrongly availed ITC. Is he right? I will repeat the question for the sake of giving clarity. I wrongly availed CGST 5 lakhs, SGST 5 lakhs. Totally 10 lakhs. But my electronic credit ledger balance never went below 10 lakhs because not CGST balance was there. Because SGST balance was always more than 10 lakhs. And currently after that I have accumulated some ITC. Using that ITC only I have now paid the tax. I have used ITC to make the payment of this 5 lakhs SGST and 5 lakhs CGST. Am I liable for interest?
But you have to see the total credit.
Question is that, should I see total, should I see headways?
Total.
Now you are able to understand what is the point that I am trying to convey here. SGST, you don't have to pay interest. But CGST, you have to pay interest. So, how many orders you have seen interest being levied only on CGST? Whenever they levy interest, it will be more thing. So it need not be the case because the SGST, there is enough balance. So there is no wrongly availed and utilized because 50 subsection 3 says wrongly availed means you don't have to pay interest. That is the retrospective amendment. Wrongly availed and utilized, then only you need to pay. SGST I never wrongly utilized, but CGST wrongly availed and utilized. That is why it became zero at some point of time. But subsequently I have got credit. That doesn't matter. It is not counted. You wrongly availed and utilized. When you wrongly availed and utilized, come, you pay interest on that. Hence, please remember, interest can be one-headed also. There is a possibility of interest this way because legally it is allowed. Just because the orders are being passed with interest on both the heads, it is not right. because in some of the cases this might be prevalent. So 50 subsection 3 is this. Now the catch is with respect to IGST, which has been recently clarified by Circular 192, wherein they have said, because I'll take a minute on this. This is one game changer that happened. Till 2019, 49(5) section was saying you will be first utilizing IGST against IGST, CGST against CGST, SGST against SGST. So earlier, when you had carry forward, you had carried forward in IGST. But from May, June, July 2019 onwards, the provision got changed. The subsequent amendment also came into the portal, by which now IGST has to be first made 0. Then only you can continue with everything, which meant now currently major exporters are having lot of ITC only in SGST. They don't have enough ITC in CGST and SGST, it is left only with SGST. That is the problem I wanted to highlight. So because of that, any interest liability occurs, you cannot say there is no interest, there is interest. But only to the extent of availed and utilized, of which head. Accordingly, I will pay the interest. Suppose in this case, the whole 10 lakhs was IGST wrongly availed. Then interest is 0. Because IGST wrongly availed, you always had SGST also to offset against it, no? So that carry forward is there, which is more than that amount. It means it is not wrongly availed and utilized. So it will change, it depends upon what was wrongly availed. CGST means interest is there. IGST means no interest. Yes, sir.
So in this case, let us suppose there was balance in IGST.
If that is the case, that is not clarified by 192.
192 only.
192 does not clarify that, but I am still of the view IGST can be used. They have not considered it because after May 19, nobody can carry forward, is what they have thought. But that period, I might have had a carry forward, which is what we are also telling the department in our replies. 192 did not say I will not allow. 192 did not talk about that scenario because it is not prevalent now. That's why it is not talked about.
The analogy we can take that.
Same analogy we can borrow. Like 147, they have borrowed, no, the numerator denominator 1.5 times for 197, something similar.
So,
yeah.
If my wrongly availed ITC is 10,000,
okay,
and my balance in CGST is 9,000, then interest will be on 1,000?
Only on the wrongly availed and utilized.
That is on the entire 10,000?
No, wrongly availed and utilized is only 1,000. Correct. To the extent of utilization. But if it goes to 0, next month it becomes more, does not matter. Then it is considered to be fully utilized.
Sir, it is one previous one the question on the interest rate on the 18% sir. But on the officer
24%. Wait. I need to skip that. Yeah. I need to confirm. Wait. The next question is the officer is charging 24% interest. Is he denied? Is he right? 50 subsection 3 amendment. Many officers are not even aware of this provision. It is mentioned in the amendment that the interest shall not exceed 24%. But where is the amendment is what is the officers asking. Where was it reduced from 24 to 18? All they need to do is go and refer Finance Act of 2022. In Finance Act of 2022, section 116, if you refer, read with schedule 6, you will be able to see, it will mention that as per this section, whatever notifications earlier given, and that notification list, they will not give as a notification list, they will give as a file number. You will be able to trace that file number to the notification, original notification, which is 13/2017 CGST, not rate notification, dated 28th of June 2017. That notification, in the second line, in the third column, it is not 24%, wrongly availed and utilized, it is 18%. 50 subsection 3 says maximum of 24, it is only 18, is confirmed by this Finance Act, section 116, read with 6th schedule. In one of the cases, the order was passed by CGST officers with 24%. We gave all these evidences to the commissioner, got the order rectified to the extent of 18%. We were able to convince. So this is why the evidence I am providing to you. Still some of the officers are saying, give me the notification for 18. Why should I give notification? I am giving you Finance Act itself. Will the notification have more powers than the Finance Act of 2022? No. So there is no 24% in GST as of today. No 24% interest. Be it 50 subsection 1, 50 subsection 3, the maximum interest is 18% only. Yeah. Thank you. I was about to say that we have to compulsorily move to e-vehicle. Now we have come to e-vehicle. Common scenario. 1. The works contractor. He is engaged in providing works contract service. He is engaged by a registered person to perform works contract at a location that is not registered as additional place of business. Neither his additional place of business nor the person who is engaging him. His additional place. It is neither of the two. When the works contractor moved goods to the above project site, the vehicle was intercepted by the roving squad team. And the roving squad says, you will have to pay penalty. And they are saying the location is unregistered. Are they right? Is it legally valid?
How many
Kilometers. You tell me a number, sir. I'll take that kilometer. 100, 200. Another something. Anything is fine. You want to 10, I will keep it as 10. 2, I will keep it as 2 kilometers. 200 kilometers, fine. Next building is also fine. Any way you want to imagine. Because kilometer does not matter here. That is what I am coming to. Legally, tell me whether it is valid. Can the officer say the premises where you are delivering has to be registered?
No, not necessarily.
Yes. So this was our plea against the department. Rule 138, neither section 129 nor section 68 ask for the location of the recipient or the place where it is delivered to be registered. Unfortunately, wait, the problem is not over. Tamil Nadu government has created something. They have issued a circular called circular dated 10th of January 2023. 10th of January 2023, they issued a circular. Please refer, it is there in the Tamil Nadu government GST portal, ctd.tn.gov.in. You can go there under the GST notifications, you can find this. 10th January 2023, they issued this and said, we are of the view that the place where it is being delivered has to be a registered premises. In my case, the client was trying to deliver oil can to a Kalyana Mandapam for a marriage. They stopped the vehicle and said it is not a registered premises. He was like, sir, how can it be registered? Kalyana Mandapam is registered premises. Then you put invoice on Kalyana Mandapam. Sir, I put the invoice in the name of them. But for them it is not registered premises. Sir, they are not even registered, sir. That is why I am saying they have to pay penalty. We were fighting in Tena signal. 35,000. We eventually paid the penalty and released the vehicle. But that time this circular was not there. So I had contended this, we had a fight. Then eventually we went up to the commissioner. So what he decided is, we will give a circular. They have given a circular. Now it is legal. So in Tamil Nadu is the only place it is there. Apart from Tamil Nadu, no other place you will see this strange criteria of expecting.
What will the caterer do, sir? How many places he will register?
That is why I am giving the example, sir. He cannot even register. See, by the time he makes one application, marriage will be over. Next, and what application, what document he will put?
In one particular scenario, the assessee is under central jurisdiction.
Okay.
So I am trying to register a site address. The assessing officer is saying this is not even a fixed establishment. Why are you coming for adding?
I cannot give you registration.
No.
But the SGST officer will establish it. Yes. This anomaly is there. So what you need to pray is it doesn't happen to your client. So don't tell me, Shankar, legally I will fight all the best.
Then we had tried actually, we tried registering a site for a works contract person. We made the application, non-core amendment, additional place of business we added. The supporting document was only the purchase order because you cannot give any other document.
Yes, connecting me to the place.
So a query was raised by the officer and we had replied that this for the purpose of site work and the goods are being delivered without any reason was rejected. The place was never added and now the patient of we are praying that the squad should not catch on the way.
Exactly. The only thing left with us is pray and hope that it doesn't happen. See, I have got.
If they are actually now demanding penalty, there is no e-paper. We can very well show that
You
they
can
have
show
already
that,
applied,
sir.
but they have not given.
All that is fine. Vehicle will be impounded. Now tell me, see, that is where practically we are stuck.
That's one case.
We as officers, we run to the Greens Road or we run to the respective premises because they take the vehicle and say, come, I'm going to pay city to go. Kalyana Mandana, I ended up going to I will go to there and fight. So eventually I decided, okay, I'll pay now, I'll go for appeal. But by the time you come for appeal, you realize that, okay, there is a legal provision that is requiring this. I cannot go for appeal. And hence, I wanted to put this as a matter. It has been made mandatory by the Tamil Nadu government. Hence, the works contractors, especially the most affected parties are works contractors. The ones who are delivering cement for home construction. They expect that place to be registered. The home fellow says, why would you want my EB bill at all? Why do you want my property tax? Sir, on place I need to add as additional place. Else I cannot deliver cement.
So can circular override the provision?
No, it cannot. You cannot override the officer beyond the circular. No?
That's okay, sir.
That is the problem with me. See, legally I am ready to talk, sir. Other person should know. In one movie, Rajinikanth will say, கராத்தேலாம் தெரியும் சொன்னீங்க, எனக்கு தெரியும், யானைக்கு தெரியாது. எனக்கு கராத்தே தெரியும், யாருக்கு கராத்தே தெரியாது, அடிச்சிடும்.
There's a Madras High Court case also, sir.
Yeah,
DCM Sriram Limited. The same situation, same
yes,
fact.
and post that only the circular was issued. Correct. So this has effectively overpowered the Madras High Court judgment.
But that judgment clearly said that it is not a fixed establishment.
Yes, we need, see, that is where I am expecting somebody to create a fight in the future. So I am igniting your minds, saying somebody says, if this e-way bill is wrong, I want to go to court, come, welcome. We will go to Madras High Court, quash this circular somehow. But until the time you don't do it, you are only takers. We are only takers, we are only going to take this. So e-way bill, recipient location being registered. I have got education institutions constructing building where this registration is expected. Yes, sir. Correct, sir. The vehicle will be impounded, sir. Now, what is binding on whom will we have time to decide? That is why I told you, we can talk law, we can make sense only if the other person knows karate. I know karate, he has to know. So the other part is, even if the recipient is unregistered, I think we have already discussed that. Recipient is registered or unregistered, either way, the location where you are delivering has to be in the additional place of business of any one of the persons.
But practically, just for knowledge, so with the roving squad officers, they say that if you are delivering to any residential place for construction, at least put the PAN number or some of the any.
That is again an amendment to the circular done by the local officer. When I am challenging the circular itself, I have to accept the local. So that is why I am saying it is like customization. You call it jangri, I call it jalebi. End of the day, it is tasting sweet. It is fine. It is tasting bitter. Then we will fight. So the next case on the similar e-way bill matter is imported goods were being moved from port to transporters godown, which was 36 kilometers from port. Imported goods delivered from the port, it is going to the transporters godown. Transporters godown is 36 kilometers from the port. Now, e-way bill, part A was filled up. Part B was not filled up. This vehicle was intercepted by the officer. Intercepted by the rowing squad, saying that it is a illegal movement. Because what is e-way bill? Only when part B is also there, that is when it is considered to be a valid e-way bill. There is no part B. So why can't I say that there is an illegal movement? The question is this valid? Can the officer say that you have got part A, you are bringing the goods, but there is no part B, the details, nothing is there? I can say, very well say that this is illegal movement and he wants to levy penalty. 2 times. 2 times of what? 2 times of your imported IGST value. You already paid that IGST to the customs department. You come out and you pay 2 times of it to the department as penalty. That is what is being sought. Is this legally valid? Actually, we can say, that's okay. The answer is no. Rule 138 has got one simple proviso. It says that up to 50 kilometers. Up to 50 kilometers from where to where? That is very important. 50 mattu you should not carry it forward. 50 kilometers to the transport premises. See, within 50 kilometers to anybody, no. Within 50 kilometers to the transporter's premises. Assume from the port, the importer's location itself is in 25th kilometer, you cannot claim this benefit. This benefit is available only when the place to which it is travelling, but the travelling place, the place where it is going to go, and then it will go further, is the transporter's premises. Then it is within 50 kilometers from the place where it is picked up. Take for typical example in Chennai, Sriperumbudur, they pick up, or Irungattukode they pick up, they take it to Red Hills. That is where the transporter go down. It is within 50 kilometers, then part A is enough. Part B is not mandatory. Vehicle details is not mentioned, does not have to be. 50 kilometers radius is this, but generally people tend to assume, sir, 50 kilometers is 50 kilometers. Anybody to everybody, no, that is where we were earlier saying, even if it is the next building, e-way bill is mandatory. So that is what the key point to be taken, because imported goods, when they get taxed, all we need to prove is that there is no intention to evade tax. Because when I have paid IGST to import, why will I even have an intention to evade? But that is where the officer will come back and say, no, these goods are freely tradable. You have imported, you could have offloaded anywhere. But generally what happens is high value imports are not freely tradable. They are meant for a particular industry. We have to take it to the next level and fight it in a legal forum to prove that there is a mistake in raising of this, or either part A was filled up means there is no mistake. No, part A was also not there, I had made a mistake, but imported goods then we can fight saying there is no intention to evade tax. There is only a procedural mistake. Leave me with 25 plus 25 or 10 plus 10 penalty. Don't take it any further.
So you are saying e-waybill even for the next door I have to do?
Yes. Hold on to the thought. I have got one more case. In that I'll be able to better resonate this point. I'll come to that.
What is this?
GST. Sounds very unique and stupid. GST. Yeah. So the next point on e-waybill. Practically happened in one of my cases. Assess's turnover was 13 crores. GST department desk review, they issued a notice saying you have got 13 crores of revenue, you have not raised a single e-waybill.
Services.
Services.
Even I got.
Yeah, good sir. Services are very simple. So he was a supplier of goods. The 13 crore notice had come to meaning saying that you have got 13 crores, you have got so much of inward and all, so much of inward with e-waybill and all. You have never made any outward e-waybill. So I am doubting your sale, but he has sold. His sale is there. But why you did not raise e-waybill was the key question. Now, where I wanted to pitch in and convey this matter is what I wanted to convey to you. One, how can I defend this matter? They are asking me one question, sir. You have done sales, but you have not raised single e-waybill. Your total turnover is 13 crore. Let's start with one. I can say I never raised e-waybill. E-waybill was raised by my recipient X, my work sale. Why will I raise e-waybill? He will raise it from my premises to his premises. Over. The second possible defense that I have is e-waybill was neither raised by me nor by my recipient. It was raised by the transporter. That could be the reason why I don't have any e-waybill. But these were not the case in my scenario. In my scenario, the goods were moved all by non-motorized conveyance. It was moved by tricycle and hand-pulled rickshaw. Now this gentleman is located smack in the middle of Broadway. He was selling oil. And within 5 kilometers radius only he delivers. In that case, he cannot use a vehicle. If he uses a vehicle, that will be detrimental for his business. So all he does is tricycle movement and movement by hand-pulled rickshaw. Over 13 crore turnover. Officer was like, sir, at least one year will put sir. Number is not vandi number. You tell me vandi number. Murugan Tunai. Vandi number. Hence, e-waybill is mandatory only when it is a motorized conveyance. When it is a non-motorized conveyance movement, there is no question of e-waybill. Now we will come back to our next plot delivery. I am here in plot number 67 of industrial estate. Plot number 68 I am delivering. Should I raise e-waybill? The answer to the question is, if you are using motorized conveyance, mandatory. If you are saying that I have not used motorized conveyance, no problem. But you don't say for 50 tons. I have used non-motorized conveyance to take the machinery from 67 to 68, may not be plausible. So that is that we need to be a little careful in terms of giving an answer. Okay, whether it is logically something which we can convey. In the oil case that I told, it is oil din. That oil dins are not one packet on the other, it is being sold. Hence, e-waybill is not mandatory in all the scenarios, only by motorized conveyance.
Then what is the purpose of this 50 kilometer distance?
This 50 kilometer is for aggregation by the transporter. Now, Sriperumbudur or Iringattukote or Ambattur, from there, radials, a 40 feet tanker will stand. That 40 feet container cannot come into and pick up. But what they will do, they will collect it in Tata Ace, in smaller vehicles from all these places, go load it there, it will directly travel to Ichapuram terminal. Then from Ichapuram terminal it will be removed and whatever local delivery has to be done will be done by smaller vehicles. That is why in e-waybill also we have this facility of change of vehicle. And for enabling the transporters, they are saying, anyway I do not know which container I will go and load. So allow me to move with part A only, but the delivery place should be, or the direction in which he is going, should be the transporter's premises.
What about the limit 50,000 or 1 million?
That 50,000 is the total value including GST if it is an interstate movement. If it is exceeding that, e-waybill is mandatory. If it is within Tamil Nadu, the limit has been fixed by the Tamil Nadu government as 1 lakh, including GST. So if it is within that limit, then also you don't have to raise an e-waybill even if it is going by a motorized conveyance. So the exemption will apply only when the main provision is applicable. No? Only when e-waybill is applicable, we need to think about 50,000 and 1 lakh. If you are moving it through non-motorized conveyance, even if it is crores, you don't have to worry about e-waybill provisions. Yeah.
Same thing, my client is into tire business.
Okay.
He has not raised even a single because he's a showroom. We are in car comes and he.
It is put in the car and it goes. Correct?
Motorized vehicle.
So it is, no. You need to view it differently. It is not transported by the motorized conveyance. It is the one which is transporting the motorized conveyance. So you have sold it at this premises itself. There is no e-way bill requirement. Agreed. I had few more cases, but I know I'm coming to a closure. So what I thought was, now the floor is open. Though we have discussed in various points, tell me what is your question or what is the query on GST with respect to adjudication. If you can specifically.
Recently we have started receiving notices hinting that in inward e-way bill there is no matching. So,
Sir, I have software. It can ask any question. I will ask you the same question. So all you need to do is do reconciliation. Go and meet the officer. What I did, legal answer. Sir, e-way bill rising is not my responsibility. I buy on a X my works basis. X my works he comes and delivers. Why should I raise e-way bill, or why should I even be worried as to how he is coming and delivering? You please give a notice to him. This is the simplest of legal answer. No. He says if you do that I will confirm liability. You go to court. Then we will do reconciliation. Try and get from that fellow. And from that fellow there is a possibility. I will tell you. I have encoded all this. So what happened is in e-way bill portal there is an option called download e-way bills raised on me by others. But the challenge is, at least whatever I raise, I can download on a monthly basis before 12 noon if I log in. But on me by others, whenever you log in, you can download only for 5 days. So you have to appoint somebody and say 5 years. That fellow will do that dirty job for, say 2-3 weeks. He will be able to download. At least yearly basis download panni, try and give a reconciliation to the officer. So at how much soever illogical it is, at least the notice is not huge. There will be some misses, but at least rather than confirming 35 crores, you had made some work, you have put something in front of the officer to reduce it to 1 crore, then maybe take it to the next level forums and say legally I want to fight it, is the course of action I would suggest. If the client says no, you don't give any answer, let us go for 35 crores itself to High Court, leave it.
So can in this case, can it even be called as liability by merely not generating any bill?
What the officer assumes is what we are trying to understand here. He cannot raise penalty under 129 because the movement is over. So that he cannot do. What he can do is he can assume that the credit is invalid credit. He will invoke 122 and he will say it is a paper credit. Or in other words, the bill trading credit. Moment the bill trading word is used, we are afraid because 132 will also get invoked. So to avoid that problem, better to reconcile.
The thing is, he is comparing the rent ITC as per 2A versus the e-way bill generated. It will also contain services.
That's true.
Sir, I told you ISD can be assessed with plus 10%. How these are possible, sir? You tell me the problem, it is possible. Anyway, assessment. So that is where we need to get across the point and try to curb it before show cause notice or order. It goes beyond at least rectification if 17, 18, 18, 18 case does not happen. Yes, ma'am. I got only partially. Yeah, tell me. GST? What you are saying is the tax head in the e-way bill portal is wrongly put. Yes. See, don't get offended by the words that you have to pay GST. No, they don't mean it. It is all pre-programmed into the software. Whenever it finds a difference, it says that you have to pay. All you need to tell is it is only a clerical error. It does not tantamount to a supply. Because for being taxable under GST, one of the key elements is there should be a supply. There is no supply that is intended to be taxed here, and whatever that supply that you have quoted in your list is already taxed. I have got enough evidence to prove supplier's invoice, his payment and everything to prove that it has been taxed. So there is no tax liability. Levy itself is failing. Please take back your notice. Yeah. You need to again take the mic.
Right.
Okay.
So what happens is, while 1890 initially, there were too many errors.
The associate had committed too many errors.
No, the glitches were there in the e-way bill portal.
Yeah.
So once all details are filled and e-way bill was generated, it was not reflecting immediately. The SEC thinking that it was not generated, they regenerated it. But it was not coming to their awareness. Now notices are coming that same invoice to the e-way bills are released.
See, you have put it very subtly by saying that without the knowledge assessee has done. I don't think so. I don't give that benefit of doubt to them. They would have done purposefully 2 times. Because that time e-way bill portal was allowing same document number to be used multiple times. That is something which department themselves have identified. From November 2019 they restricted it.
Yesterday only I
Correct. Let him assume. What? That is what you are saying. Let him assume. All you need to prove is I have done a supply, I have done self-assessment and paid the tax. Now, if you say that I have moved 2 times the goods, it is because an e-way bill was raised. After 24 hours, there is no possibility of cancellation. So I cannot cancel also. See, these are all the fights I believe will go to the next level forum. If a tribunal is there, we will get a permanent solution. Yes, till the time they will see, they will keep on saying that you only did. I will say I never did wrong, I corrected properly in GSTR1. The same problem can come for e-invoicing also. Because e-invoicing, many times they wrongly raise, and what they do is they raise another correct invoice and do it. When it comes to GSTR1, we purposefully remove those invoices which are wrong and we go ahead with the correct ones. Now tomorrow department can say e-invoice you raised, but why you did not report? All I have to tell, same with respect to e-way bill. I will tell them, sir, because of this has ITC been passed? No. It is only a mistake that I committed in one portal, never reported in my GSTR1. Is e-invoice or e-way bill portal used for assessment, or GSTR1 and 3B is used for assessment? You are taking corroborative evidence from there. Just because you take something from there, you cannot come and penalize me. This legally somebody has to take it up, and there only you will get the answer. Lower levels, no.
Sir, we have a very classic case.
Yeah.
What in the invoice, some chemical products, the batch number would be either different or maybe many reasons. The same line item appears with the same quantity, same rate, and 4 or 5 line items of the same value will make a total amount of the invoice, and the GST is charged. The department is claiming you have claimed duplicated, your input tax is duplicated, and huge liability has been imposed.
We have also had, this is lack of Excel knowledge on the part of the department officer who put VLOOKUP. That's all. All he should realize is one invoice, multiple line items are there. He should do a summation of the invoice and do VLOOKUP. But instead what they do line by line VLOOKUP. Multiple times the same invoice will come and they will say that you have claimed more. And sometimes I was stunned. The amount of ITC they said we have claimed is more than what is there in 3B. And in one case, the commission started laughing.
All in one day. That was the last day.
And commission started laughing in one case because invoice number was blank. And they have said this invoice is not matching. In their list, in my order they have given, Annexure A, whatever invoices are not matching. Invoice number is blank. I asked the commissioner, tell me blank, I should match with what into it. He said, that 36 lakhs I am allowing you anyway, but remaining you need to prove to me. So that is how it went. Hence, this can happen. As you rightly said, again, what I have already told you also, at DRC 1A stage itself, if you can reduce these problems, because leaving it for later spoils the game.
Sir, again, it is actually first time one notice, again another revised notice. Revised notice is given just 3 days before.
And immediately
within 3 days,
this damage has happened in 17-18, sir. Maybe for next years we can try to.
No, all the 5 years.
5 years, is it? Okay. Then, very sorry.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, this is regarding one of the GST audits, like what we are dealing with.
Okay.
So, but that is in the state of Uttarakhand.
Okay.
So, sir, what has happened? So, like, on some of the points, we have given the officers, like, some of the High Court's orders from different states. But they are directly discarding it, stating that we can give you a contradicting High Court order from a different state. So, sir, in such a scenario, sir, what is the recourse, like,
Meaning the officer is saying, you give me a...
So, sir, for example, if Tamil Nadu High Court has given an order in our favor, so officer is saying we can't believe High Court orders because unless and until there's a Supreme Court order and none of the cases have gone to Supreme Court.
You are right, he is right, officer is right. I'll tell you from 2 points. I think we should also empower ourselves from that legal perspective. One, High Court order is binding only on this jurisdiction, where the High Court is, not in the other states. Second, subtly what happens, which we do not get to know. Again, all this websites which popularly forwards, all they miss is when that order is given, subsequently department would have went on an appeal. There is a mechanism in writ called as writ appeal. When they go to the higher bench for writ appeal, get referred for appeal, this matter will be stayed. The classic example is 7,500 rupees fee, that is monthly maintenance received from tenants. Anita Sumant had given a judgment in case of Greenwoods, I think. The Madras High Court judgment was that up to 7,500 is exempt. If you are charging 8,500, you need to pay GST only on 1,000.
Correct.
This was peddled and everybody was understanding this, but this is now in stay.
Correct.
They have gone on appeal.
What is the position? So
the position is the full amount is taxable. See, it is like a limit, madam.
Right.
80 kilometers is the speed limit. He cross 81, you will tax me for only 1. You will tax me, it is not a threshold, it is a limit. Threshold and limit are different. This is settled in service tax itself.
So it's a clear thing.
Yes, but what has happened, this judgment was propelled and all the people will say, the judgment is there. Sir, judgment has been overturned. There was an appeal during the period that we were fighting. That appeal was won and it was overturned also, which we are not aware. Hence, the point is, any High Court order quotable to any authority in the jurisdiction. But there also we need to take with a pinch of salt. That is, whether the department has gone on appeal against that, which we will be able to know only if you know some advocates or through their mechanism only you will be able to know whether this writ has been gone on a writ appeal. If that has gone on a writ appeal with a stay against this order, forget it, the order is invalid.
Then we'll have to go to the High Court ourselves.
Exactly, get an order for yourself.
The second challenge to the same case was, sir, there are some of the points on which we want to appeal to the appellate tribunal, but it is because it's a central GST audit which is going on. So they are saying that since you cannot appeal to anyone beyond us right now, so
you need to pay the tax.
Yeah.
No. Good that you brought this point. One of my cases which I could not discuss was Circular 132. The Circular 132 is in your favor. What it is saying is, under section 107 subsection 6, when you are going for an appellate authority appeal, you pay 10% pre-deposit. Go for appeal. You lose that appeal. Now all you are left with is going to the tribunal. Tribunal is not constituted. So Circular 132 has already said the pre-deposit to be paid for going to the tribunal is 20%. It is not cumulatively 20%, it is another 20%.
So 10 plus 20.
Yes. You have already paid 10, you need to pay another 20. Pay that 20, then till the time tribunal is constituted and 3 months from the date of constitution of tribunal, your recovery is stayed. Circular 132, binding on the CGST officers. Take a printout, humbly submit to them. Your circular, sir, you don't follow, your PF and ESA will be in trouble.
I have sufficient IGS for making payment pre-deposit. I used it
for payment of CGST and SGST or any pre-deposit. Pre-deposit ITC can be 100% used, sir. There is a Tamil Nadu government circular also, which I had to give to the Tamil Nadu appellate office, where DC was accepting. The receiving officer was not ready to accept it. I had to politely and then vehemently tell them, even take it up to DC, showed the Tamil Nadu government circular. This was clarified by the government also. In case of Oasis reality, I believe, Bombay High Court also taken cognizance of this circular. Because the circular was given by 5th July 2022, if I am right. That is the date of the circular. It was given and it was clarified. The accumulated ITC can be very well used for payment of pre-deposit. Prior to that, there was a wrong judgment in Gujarat, in Odisha High Court, which had said that you should not pay pre-deposit with ITC, which was completely against it. And then the circular came, saying that this can be done. And Bombay High Court has also confirmed based upon the circular. I don't even know to go to the court. I have got the circular from CBSE, and which was subsequently given by Tamil Nadu also. Because this circular is dated sometime in July. In Tamil Nadu, they ratified. No, when they ratified it sometime in September or October. It is available in the Tamil Nadu government portal, which says that yes, pre-deposit can be paid using ITC. Available, sir.
Sir.
Our mood shoulder. Yeah. Tell me,
sir. One of my clients is manufacturer of alcohol in Goa.
For human consumption.
Yes, sir, for human consumption. I think they also do contract manufacturing for another brewery. For the job work, GST is applicable. They are raising GST invoice. While sending the goods for job work, whether should they raise an e-way bill, because they are saying that the TP is enough, sir. This TP challan is enough. Whether they should raise an e-way bill, sir.
Okay. What is being sent for job work? Barley, malted barley. Bottles, fill up.
Bottles, malted barley.
Barley for converting as malted barley.
Yes, all raw materials.
All these materials are individually taxable under GST.
Yes.
Hence, when they move, there has to be a DC. DC for job work. And all this job work movement has to be supported by an e-way bill as long as it is more than 50,000 interstate or 1 lakh intrastate. Depending upon that, you will have to raise DC. And when it is returned back, I'm not sure whether they will return it back as fully converted, ready to consume alcohol, or it will convert as semi-finished.
Fully converted, ready to consume.
Ready to consume alcohol. In those cases, e-way bill you need not take into consideration. The reason being that item itself would have been exempted with a state notification. Like in Tamil Nadu, we have a notification for 1 lakh. In that notification, there is an annexure. If you go and see, they themselves would have exempted certain items over and above what was exempted by central in Rule 138. In Tamil Nadu, they would have exempted. there you will see alcohol being removed from there. So you don't have to worry about it. For that matter, even petroleum, human as well as motor spirit are taken care.
In some cases, they send the items on behalf of the other company, the company which gave job work order, to directly to distributors in other state. In that case, whether should
they are still stuck with VAT only. The item which is being transported is not an item on goods under GST or which is taxable under GST. It is an item which is coming under state VAT and state excise. So whatever procedure is prescribed there, that they need to follow. Because this procedure is applicable even for ENA, extra neutral alcohol, which is taxable under GST. But that is the main ingredient for creating this alcohol. Yes, sir.
It's about RCM transaction. So the transaction pertains to financial year 17-18. Now RCM has not been paid. So now during the GST audit,
you are going to ask me ITC, correct?
ITC.
What will you ask the ITC faculty tomorrow? Reserve it. I have an answer, but I don't want to give now. Take it tomorrow. Yeah.
Another thing, like I mean, the client is doing e-invoice. He has filed the e-invoice. At the time of GST1 filing, he came to know that the e-invoice he filed was wrong. So now you want to edit that or delete that and add that one.
In GST1.
In GST1.
Only there you can do. Nothing in e-invoice portal.
Then IRN, no, it gets, it's not recording when we had filed GST1. Is that a problem in future that it is not a valid e-invoice?
When we raised multiple e-payables for the same invoice, did we think that was a problem at the time? Now you know. So all this will be recorded somewhere, somehow we will be answerable to it. So yes, I feel it is a problem. I will tell you how to overcome it, because I have done it practically. One, you said the e-invoice is wrong. Now you can go back and correct. But the only challenge is from 1st November 2023 onwards, if you are having a turnover more than 100 crores, e-invoice you cannot raise anything beyond 30 days. That is going back beyond 30 days. So you can go back only up to that. For instance, you are finding a mistake on 1st January invoice. Today, you cannot raise another e-invoice. If you do not raise another e-invoice, there is a peril. Your recipient's ITC will be in question, Rule 48. It will say that it is not a valid invoice. So you have to do both. So somewhere you will have to reach some conclusion and do something which will become an eventual litigation matter.
But you can.
What you will do, I am not touching the matter.
You can amend the e-invoice 30 days.
No, e-invoice, nothing can be done, madam. Within 24 hours only you can do. What I am saying is, I want you to raise one more e-invoice. So that this wrongly raised e-invoice does not come into a GST1. Okay. Now I will address the second point. There are 700 and 800 invoices are there. I need to remove one. How can I remove one? Generally what people do, reset. When they do reset, all the invoices, the auto-populated IRN gets vanished. Now, there is only one way in which I found that this is possible to remove one invoice, still everything being intact. I searched for all the softwares and then I realized sometimes you will buy 100 rupee darshan ticket and go into the temple. Queue will be there, but the free ticket will be gali. Everybody will go and come. Similarly, I found, I purchased software and tried department website, they have given on tool. No? In that tool you can do this. All you need to do in that tool, download the JSON, load it, remove that particular invoice, again upload it, it does an append action. It is not doing a remove and add action. So, if 700 invoices are there, remove only one, put it again, all 699 will be there with IRN reference. So, this is the simplest solution I found. Hence, my customer when he sees is 2A or 2B as it is, IRN number will reflect that. So, he will not suspect that I have moved without raising a e-invoice. My problem is solved. I have given a solution to your problem. Legally valid or not, I leave it to you. So I think on that note, I will have to take this as a last question. Yes, ma'am.
Suppose in Tamil Nadu the goods are being transported.
Okay.
So going back. So suppose there are three invoices covered in that goods. And suppose two examples. One is in one vehicle there are goods that it is supported by three invoices. But individually the value is below 1 lakh.
But collectively they are more than 1 lakh.
Yeah. So then e-waybill is
same supplier, same customer. Yes. If I am the officer, I will suspect.
And if it is in two separate vehicles and
I don't even have a ground to suspect. No, I will not stop both the vehicles. There is a lesser possibility that I will stop both. So that way you will be able to get away. But people tend to do this, or it is not even the management who tends to do. It is the person who is dispatching. No, he thinks out of the box and says that I will overcome e-waybill. How I can overcome e-waybill is 99,999. 3 invoices I will raise. I will put it in the vehicle so nobody can catch me. No, the officer who stops the vehicle will obviously have a question. He will think that why are you doing it? This is purposefully done to override the e-waybill provision. So I suspect that there is an intention to evade tax. Now you are inviting trouble because of this. That is what we should educate to them. Because of that, the penalty will appear. I mean, it will be confirmed. You will have to fight it in the next level forums for the legality behind it. My suggestion is don't do that. Do it if you want to really move and bring it in one invoice, much better. Lesser problems.
Sir, one last question. Sir, like an e-way bill.
Okay.
Guy noted.
Yours will be last, right?
E-invoice has been generated.
Okay.
Goods not yet moved. So they want to move the goods and after 60 days.
Later, no problem. There is no time limit between e-invoice and the e-way bill. You can raise any time. Suspension will be there. See, it is like this. I am carrying a, let's say, house-breaking equipment. I am walking on the middle of the road in the day. Nobody is going to question me. But I am carrying a house-breaking equipment and walking on the midnight. Policeman is bound to stop me. No? He will ask, then I need to give a plausible answer. No, sir. Then else I am in trouble. Yes, sir.
Whether ADT 02 issued by an audit officer
is
a very show cause notice under section 73.
No, ADT 02 has powers only under 65.
Okay, then can an audit officer issue show cause notice for his like company?
CGST or SGST?
SGST.
Allowed. SGST, that power is there. That is what I told you. SGST, there is no segregation of duty. That officer can do everything. In CGST only, audit team is different. The person who is adjudicating is different. So they start with DRC 1A. Everything comes to the adjudicating officer. I think now we will have to conclude. Anything is there, we will take it offline. Thanks a lot. Thank you all for your patient and effective listening. I hope I was able to do some justice. Please keep you engaged for 3 hours with whatever little GST related provisions. Thank you. See you all some other time. All the best.